podcast from CBS Sports.
And first pitch crushing. Deep left field. This is way back. Walk the ball.
Got a fantasy question? Email fantasybaseball@cbsi.com. Get ready to win your league.
Where fantasy becomes reality.
Now here's Frank, Scott, and Chris.
Let us draft. Welcome into Fantasy Baseball today. Frank Stampfl joined by Scott White and Chris Towers. And I would say welcome into a mock draft edition. But this one is for realsies. We're playing it out. 12 teams, 5x5 standard roto salary cap draft, also known as auction, with the standard $260 budget. Scott, are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm actually not totally sure I'm ready. I feel like I could have done more to get ready, but I did a lot, which, you know, I've potentially done enough at least.
I would say that I'm ready as well, but I have 4 positions on my sheet here that are not filled out. So I am not ready. Hopefully Chris Towers is ready. He's definitely ready. What's up, Chris?
I'm not ready, guys.
Where's your red shirt? Come on, dude.
I didn't get the memo on the red shirts, apparently. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate that. You know, we're supposed to be a team, and I show up wearing this mustard yellow Henley, and all of a sudden I look like an idiot.
That is exactly mustard. You are right about that. Well, you know what? You guys wore plaid yesterday without me, so take that, Chris. Who are the participants in this draft? Obviously, Scott, Chris, and myself. Then we have Raymond Atherton, Brandon Myers, Jason Austin, Garrett Atkins, Tim Canick, RJ White, Chris Mitchell, Tim McLeod, and our defending champion, Greg Lathrop. And the way that this is going to work on the podcast side of things, we're going to break the first 2 hours into 2-part podcasts. We'll keep it running a little bit longer after that on YouTube, but this draft is going to take something like 4 hours. We are not going to draft all 4. We're not going to broadcast all 4 hours, but we're going to broadcast a decent amount of this thing. If you are here watching live, thank you. We appreciate it. Like this video if you haven't already, and subscribe to the channel. If you are listening to this, come hang out. Watch us on YouTube. Subscribe. YouTube.com/fantasybaseball today. All right, Scott, I am ready to go. I probably should shut off my volume there so it doesn't come out here on the podcast. But yeah, I'm ready. I'm squared away. Start it up.
I'm hitting the start button. We're going to get our first nomination here from RJ.
Just to clarify, not former Colorado Rocky top 5 rookie of the year finisher Garrett Atkins. Different Garrett Atkins.
Oh, well, that changes everything now. Okay. Wow, did he get thrown out for that price?
Yep.
Whit Merrifield got thrown out for $24, and
RJ's going to take it.
RJ White is going to sneak away with Whit Merrifield for $24. Second base and outfield eligibility is Whit Merrifield, and of course has extra value in this format because he will provide a decent amount of speed. And again, this is the 5x5 standard roto. Salvador Perez is up. Should get interesting for our guy.
I mean, for what it's worth, I do have Whit Merrifield as a $28 player. When someone throws him out there at that price, you get kind of gun shy.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, which, we talked about on Sunday's show, you know, you get these situations. This format is as much about psychological warfare as it is drafting players. And so, you know, that might have saved RJ a few bucks on Whit Merrifield.
All right, let's see. Salvador Perez is up right now, and no surprise, Scotty is in on the bidding. Salvador Perez
no savings here.
$30 for Salvi. Ooh. And Greg Lathrop jumps back in. Scotty going to 32. Let's see. Will you win one Salvador Perez or 32?
I got him.
Gold to Scotty
for 32. I had budgeted 30, but I'm usually for the top end players willing to.
It's already gone sideways.
Willing to push the budget by a couple dollars to make sure I get who I want. So I feel pretty good about that.
I promise you 47 minutes from now, Scott's going to go, God, I wish I hadn't done 32 for Salvador Perez. Gosh.
I don't think that's going to be the one. No, there will be somebody I say that about, but I don't think it's going to be him. I actually regretted when we did the head-to-head points version of this the other day, not exceeding my budget on Salvador Perez after it was all over. So Trey Turner now is up to over 40, unsurprisingly.
Trey Turner up to $42.
This will be a good litmus test for a true first-round type player. Are people going to really blow out the budget for him, or are they going to keep the bidding more or less reasonable? I have him as 41, a $41 player. He's up at 44 right now, so we're just a little bit over. But the bidding continues to go up.
Slowly.
And just for context, I think we all probably have is Turner the number one player for all of us now in this format?
He is for me.
I have him as a $41 player. Scott has him as a 41. Frank, I'm not sure what you have, but
I have him at 40.
I have 3 guys at 41. I can't remember who's the top of those 3 though, but Turner is one of them.
It is. You have Vlad number 1, Scott. You have Vlad, Turner, and Jose Ramirez each for 41, and Trey Turner is sold for $49.
So that's a pretty, that means people are going pretty aggressively after the high end guys, at least the ones who steal bases.
Oh yes. Again, this is the standard 5x5 format. So batting average, run scored, RBI, home runs, steals, and Trey Turner goes off the board at $49. Now up is Ronald Acuna, who Chris throws out there at $20. All right. Recent good news on Ronald Acuna, or at least we think there was a tentative plan announced where apparently he should be ready to go by April 21st. So he would miss the first 2 weeks of the season, but then would return, play DH, and maybe a month after that, play the field.
And no discount.
No discount. Ronald Acuna now up to $38.
Pushing.
Yeah, I mean, I've got him ranked 14th. 16th, and as a $31 player. So now he just went for $38. That is basically, I mean, for context, I have the Bo Bichette, Mookie Betts, Mike Trout tier as 36, and that's kind of tier 3 for me.
Mm-hmm. Whoa there. I love that. Someone threw Ohtani out for $1. It's just, it's weird to do that because he's not going to go for $1. But anyway, then he just shoots up to 35. So that was great. And now Scott is in on the bidding at $36 for Ohtani, and now 37. All
right. This is Whit Merrifield, probably the only bargain so far.
Ohtani goes for $1 less than Ronald Acuna. Interesting.
So Ohtani, I actually had at $37, and so that's one first-round caliber player who,
not a premium.
Yeah,
I had him at 36, so 37 is right there too.
Yeah, and it's one who steals bases also, but who are confined to playing him at DH, which is a little problematic.
And there's, we've talked about it. There's injury risk there, more so than your typical hitter.
Yes. Sure. All right. Freddie Freeman is up, and we went from 25 to 34. Now Scotty's in on the bidding. $35 is Freddie Freeman. Again, Ohtani went for $2 more than that. And now Freddie Freeman up to $36. All right. And will he go for 36? I think so. Yes. Freddie Freeman goes for $36. So $1 less than Ohtani, $2 less than Ronald Acuna. So that's
more reasonable.
A late first-ish type player, late first round type cost there for Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, I think that's more reasonable. I am at 34, but $2 over that is, yeah, I think there just may be certain players that people were especially motivated to pick. Now Aaron Judge is up, and so we'll see if he goes for some kind of discount with the concerns over his vaccination status and what that might mean for his availability.
And he does. He goes for the same price as Whit Merrifield. Scott has Judge at 27. I have each of us have Judge at $27.
Yeah. I couldn't pull the trigger on it. Like my assumption is at this point that they're going to lift the mandate, but I did see recently that I think the case rate doubled in recent days. So, in New York City. So if that trend continues, it's going to be, I think, much less likely that they change the mandate. So that is something to keep in mind, and there's certainly some risk involved there.
All right. Jose Ramirez is the next player up, currently being bid on for $46 and sold for $46, $3 less than Trey Turner. And I think we
That's
all
probably about right.
Have them in
Those
the
two relative
same
to each
tier.
other anyway. But I had originally made out a plan centered around Jose Ramirez. And based on the price that some of the other first rounders are going for here, I'm glad I didn't hold to it, because that would have been a big bite out of the budget.
All right, next up, we have Kyle Tucker is up and currently being bid on for $32. Now up to 33. Chris jumping in. Scott jumping in. Oh, ho, ho, ho. A Chris versus Scott bidding war. Will we get it?
No, he's going beyond what I'm willing to pay. I guess I shouldn't say that as I'm in the middle of bidding, but
With 36 was right around. Oh, he's up to 38. So yeah, this is I've got him as a $34 player. So what we're seeing so far, at least for my values, pretty much everyone except for Judge and Merrifield has gone for at least a few dollars more. Ramirez and Trey Turner have gone for about $8 more than I have them for. So, that is consistent with an inflation on first and second rounders, and perhaps, a little more reasonable on everyone else, but we'll see where it goes from there.
All right, next up we have JT Realmuto. He is going for 14 right now, up to 15, 16, 25.
Ooh, that's a big jump. Wow.
Yeah.
Jason Austin wanted him some JT Realmuto. I think he's going to get him at 25.
Yes, he is. And just to put that in perspective, Scott again got Salvador Perez for $32, and Salvi is typically, a third or fourth round player, and JT Realmuto goes for 25. Typically goes like 2 rounds later than Salvador Perez. 5th round, somewhere around there usually. Mike Trout is the next player up, and he is currently up to $39. $39 for one Mike Trout.
Now this is where the regret starts creeping in. Seeing Trout, he's at 40 now. Feeling like I should have gone 37 on Freddy Freeman in retrospect.
Right. Because I guess you're expecting a somewhat similar skill set, right? Between Trout and Freeman.
Yeah, I feel like those are two players that get paired up at the turn often. If we're talking about a snake draft, Trout and Freeman, difficult to decide between them.
And Trout goes for $41. Scott has him at 36. I have him at 34, and Chris has him at 36. So about $5 over where we have Trout budgeted.
So since we're seeing all these high-end guys who are all being nominated early, it seems haven't had like a sneaky nomination yet, and they're all going for several dollars more than we've budgeted for, or that we projected for anyway. That tells you that those dollars are going to come from somewhere later on. Some range of players is going to go for less dollars in response to this. Is it going to be the mid tiers? Is it going to be the lower end guys that we end up with a bunch of $1 and $2 players in this auction? See.
All right, Vladimir Guerrero is the player that is up right now, and he is he's climbing fast. He's up to $42. Again, Mike Trout just went for 41. I would say.
I mean, basically, what we've seen is we've had a bunch of top 15 players. Basically, the only ones are Judge, Realmuto, and Merrifield and Perez, who aren't top 15. And pretty much all of them have gone for some kind of premium. And, JT Realmuto also went for a premium. So, yeah, this is consistent with the idea that there are presumably, there have to be some values at some point. The question is whether, is that going to be the 10th round type of guys? Is it going to be the 5th round type of guys? Is it going to be just the late round guys all go for $1? It's going to be interesting, but
now
Scott is the only one of us who has a player, right? Yeah.
So, I mean, Chris, I was just about to ask you, at some point when you're seeing players go for this consistent inflation over what we have them listed for, do you just say, screw it, and you jump in and you also overpay for an elite type player?
Yeah, that's the hard thing because I don't want to tell people you should overpay, because that is inherently saying that you are overpaying. I know, complicated analysis. But yeah, the reason that those guys, if all of the first round type guys get inflated, you're going to have to either pay up or you're not going to get the first round guys. And you can make up for that by getting, like, say you don't overpay for a first rounder, but you end up getting 2 second rounders or something like that. There's value in that, but the first rounders, their production's irreplaceable. What you get from one lineup spot, in theory, shouldn't be replicable from multiple spots. So that's the tough thing.
And there's a reason the first rounders are the first rounders. It's not just upside. It is upside, yes, but it's also how confident are you in them living up to their potential. So it's, it's easy to say, oh, well, I'm going to draft Nolan Arenado instead of Jose Ramirez. And, I know I'm still going to get 30 home runs, 100 RBI, whatever, but there's also
you can feel a lot more confident you're going to get
Arenado bottoms out, like Eugenio Suarez last year, for instance. Oh, I got a big power bat at third base. Well, kind of got a guy you didn't really want to start at third base, as it turns out.
All right, let's catch people up. A couple of players going here. Chris, you want a player? You got Juan Soto at $44. Then Tim Anderson went for $23. I think what we're seeing is right now those third round players are going for very fair values thus far. Tim Anderson went for $23. Judge went for $24. Of course, he has his concerns. And then Whit Merrifield was the first player thrown out exactly at $24. So those guys all went for either around their price or even maybe a little bit below what they're expected to go for.
Mm-hmm.
Mookie Betts goes for $38. All right. Chris, you are up to nominated player, and I'm surprised you didn't go after Mookie Betts. I know you did,
but 39 was tough to justify, so I didn't want to push all the way up there. I was hoping Mookie would be one of the guys who slipped through. It doesn't seem like as many people are as optimistic as I am, but he ultimately ended up going for just a little bit more than I had him for, which is in keeping with, kind of what we've seen so far. And I just threw out Ke'Bryan Hayes as a $3 bid. And, my thinking there was I've got him as a $2 player. I'd be happy to get him as a $3 player this early, but he got pushed up as well. So,
yeah, he
just want to test the waters there and see.
No, that's interesting, because now you wonder if it's a situation where people are just going to bid on anything, not literally anything, of course, but anything that looks halfway interesting. They're going to fight for it because they haven't really calibrated for, they're so calibrated for that bidding war early on that they'll just have a bidding war for anybody.
And I thought Ke'Bryan Hayes was an interesting one because I like him. I think as a sleeper, I think it's weird that, his price is very similar to what it was last season when he, was bad last season. But that's also, that's not to say I don't see the appeal potentially. But it was one where, I wanted to see if people were just going to back off of a non-difference making player, and they didn't. So I'm happy to let him go as well.
All right. Bobby Witt goes for $16, and each of us have him for between $12 and $15 in this format. So right around where he's expected to go, maybe a slight overpay, but Bobby Witt, obviously the top prospect in the game, arguably with Julio Rodriguez heading into the season, but someone who could be up on opening day. All right, Jared Walsh gets thrown out there for $1 by Scott. And all right.
Yeah, Scott going with the guy he doesn't want.
Yes, as anybody who listens to the podcast could tell you. Now, I do have him as a, how much do I have him for? $6. So he's up to $5 now.
Yeah, I've got him at $6, but I wouldn't go for that price at this point.
So what's interesting about Witt and Hayes both going for $4 more than I projected them for is they're, at least in the minds of some people, like buzzworthy players. Like there are some people out there who are genuinely very excited about them. I am more so Witt than Hayes. So, the fact Jared Walsh goes for $5, actually $1 less than I've projected him for, would tell you maybe it was a case of people just being eager to bid on Witt and Hayes specifically, as opposed to just anybody.
I will say, given what we've seen, Walsh at 5 is probably more than he would go for later. Even though we have him as a $6 player, because more dollars have been allocated for players than we have allocated for them before, So you would expect that given that's the case, somebody lower end would be cheaper. And I guess it's fair to say that Scott and I, and probably Frank, I don't know what your dollar value is, but we're lower on him than the consensus. So, his consensus price might be more like $8 to $10, in which case it still does look like a discount.
All right. Our first starting pitcher went off the board, Garrett Cole, for $38. And that's a pretty fair price, about $2-3 more than what we have him budgeted for. So our first starting pitcher, it's interesting, right? Like no other pitchers before then. He was the 19th player nominated. All right. So not Bobby Witt. Bobby Witt already went. Bo Bichette is the next man up. And he's currently being bid on for $40 and sold for $40.
That's reasonable. It's a couple more dollars than Mookie Betts, which is more than I have. I have him and Mookie Betts in the same tier at the same price, but I'm higher on Mookie than most. So it's in keeping with what we've seen so far.
And it's also $1 cheaper than Mike Trout. So just to put that in perspective, again, a mid-ish first round type player in Bo Bichette going for $40.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pivot here to something different than I've planned for, because the quality of players I hope to get for around 35 is now basically gone.
And Bryce Harper is the next player up here. So mostly going in order. We had a few random stragglers thrown in there, some third rounders, a Jared Walsh, Bryce Harper now up to $40. Will Scotty get him?
Nope.
No. Last second, Jason Austin jumps in with the $41 bid. And sold. Bryce Harper, $41. Oof. All right, Scotty. So you pushed limits a little bit there with Bryce Harper.
Yeah, I did. I'm not sure what I want to do now, to be honest.
I shouldn't have gone 32 on.
Fernando Tatis, interesting one as well. Let me pull him up in our top 300s and see what we have him for. And
I bid.
Scott bid.
Did it count the bid?
I don't know.
It looked like the draft room froze.
Scott broke it.
Okay. We'll reset it. That's fine.
All right.
Wow, how convenient.
After the way that Monday one went, it's gonna happen a few times. So just bear with us, everybody.
Yes, indeed. For those watching along, listening along, thank you for being here. I'm gonna refresh, see what happens. I think I just saw Fernando Tatis went to someone, so we might need to throw him back out there and get a fair bidding on one Fernando Tatis. All right, so each of us have Fernando Tatis out of the top 100 in our rankings. But
I did see him go around the 7th round in a draft I did earlier today. It was a shallower roster Yahoo type of draft, but maybe around the industry, he's not quite that low.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I'm going to look up his ADP from the NFBC over the past week. The news was announced 1 week ago today that Fernando Tatis was hurt, and that should give us some kind of idea of where people are at on him. So
10 seconds.
Oh, I got to mute that. That's got to go. All right, Fernando Tatis, the ADP, the ADP is 55 over the past week with a min pick of 6. So someone still drafted him in the first round. Yeah. And then a max pick of 111.
Okay, so yeah, we're all lower than even the lowest pick so far in NFBC. So maybe we got to adjust our expectations, or maybe we're just uniquely brilliant.
Or maybe
probably not that one.
Fernando Tatis up to 17 and sold.
I'll take it.
Scott White.
Yeah.
17 buckaroos.
Yeah. I think I needed a little upside there after missing out on the true first round type bats that I wanted to get 2 of, and I got 0 of. And are we frozen again?
Yeah, the draft room really wants to make sure whoever ends up with Fernando Tatis had to think about it.
Right. Are you sure you want Fernando Tatis? He's going to be out 3 months, you know.
Fernando Tatis?
Yeah. All right. I don't have a player yet, and I don't know if that's going to change anytime soon.
Most of the elite ones are gone. So you're you got no. I guess Rafael Devers is now a first rounder. I guess,
Chris,
but yeah,
Chris, I have an eye for elite talent, so don't you worry. I'm sure I'll get something, or not. Who knows? I was the last place for a large majority of this league last season. I made like a second half push, but it only got me up to like 5th or 6th place. So full transparency. This wasn't my best league last year. Corbin Burns is the next player up, and he is going for $35. Again, Garrett Cole went for $38. So a $3 discount on Corbin Burns versus
still no early round discounts.
Garrett Cole. No, none of those. Indeed. Who do I want to throw out here? Yeah, let's throw Cedric Mullins out there for, I don't know, $15.
Why not?
And let's see where this winds up. Cedric Mullins, somebody I have not drafted a single time yet. Probably won't draft much Cedric Mullins. But that's just me. I know Scott still likes him. All right, he's up to $20. Chris in on the bidding here for Cedric Mullins. RJ White. Back and forth. Scotty jumping in. All right, 24 for Cedric Mullins now.
Now the thing about Cedric Mullins is he's a chance at power and speed without a first round price tag. Mm-hmm. The only 30-30 guy last year. I'm gonna go 27 on him.
Oof. All right. 27. 28.
Not enough.
Not enough indeed. All right, Scott. I'm
not
going to tell you how much you have him budgeted for, but
well, I didn't have him budgeted or how much I projected him for.
How much you have him for on the site? Yeah.
29 is what I have him for on the site, and he went for 28.
Yes, so $1 less. And now Adalberto Mondesi is up. So, all right, some speed coming off the board here.
RJ went straight to 15 on Mondesi, just like he went straight to 24 on Whit Merrifield with the initial nomination, and kind of froze everybody with that. He did it this time. Greg Lathrop came in, bid up $1.
So I couldn't get a $17 bid, and that's fine. I would have gone to 17.
All right. I know Tim McLeod loves Seiya Suzuki, so I'm very interested to see how much this goes up to. Of course, signed with the Chicago Cubs on a 5-year deal. We have yet to see him in spring training, but interested eventually to see him. Mondesi went for $16, and it appears...
All right, he's going up there. He's exceeded my projection now. He's at the 15. I had him projected for 12, and I think I was pretty aggressive with him. So,
alrighty.
There's a lot of Suzuki love. Tim McLeod just pushed it to 20.
Oh my, 21.
Let's see if he can get up to Cedric Mullins' price here. He's not going to go that high.
I mean, that's a 3rd round player, right? Because I mean, he's at $22 now. Tim Anderson earlier went for $23. Tim Anderson's like a 3rd, 4th round player in a 12-team Roto League. So, lots of love for Seiya Suzuki, who is coming over from Japan. Big power numbers, a little bit of speed, strong plate discipline. Scott, I know you broke him down a few times. He's got that uppercut swing, so should be built well for Major League Baseball. Interested to see him play. All right, Matt Olson, the next man up. New Atlanta Brave. All right, come on, someone. Throw him up there. $20. Yes. Let's do it. All right, Tim writing in the chat that his max bid was $22 on Seiya Suzuki. Next bid was yours. Matt Olson at $24.
So I have more indecision here than I normally would, because I budgeted 35 at first base, hoping to get Freddy Freeman. and maybe miraculously Vladimir Guerrero.
Mm-hmm.
I probably should have just gone with Freeman for 37 instead of the 36 I budgeted, but I didn't. Can't go back on that now. Do I want to fill first base with a second-tier player, or do I want to divide those $35 I budgeted at first base between several positions, or do I want to relocate it to a different position? Rafael Devers is still out there. I hadn't planned on spending that kind of money at third base, but I could. I do think Devers and Freddy Freeman project for similar numbers. Maybe you give Freeman the edge in batting average, but not by as much as the separation was last year. Rafael Devers was one of the biggest underachievers in terms of XBA, which had him as more like a 290 hitter.
All right, Anthony Rendon just went for $12. I thought about going to 13. I probably could have. Well, I easily could have. I don't have a single player, but Anthony Rendon recently saying that he is 100% healthy. The hip is all good to go, and I hope that's the case.
Oh, we got a closer here. We'll see if the closer inflation happens in our own little salary cap draft here.
Liam Hendricks up to $21.
Yeah, Tim McLeod jumped him up to 20, and he got a bid on top of it. So that's interesting.
21 is what he went for. That's $3 more than I projected him for, but I have closers way down in my rankings compared.
I've got him for 19.
So that's
all right, Scott. You got to get him, or Frank. You got to get him.
Do I though?
You got to.
Do I though?
Rafael Devers is one of 3, maybe 4 second-round hitters left.
Yeah, but Chris, what you're not realizing is that I have an eye for talent.
You're just not going to have any players, which is a bold strategy.
Well, it worked last year just fine. So see what happens here. Don't worry. I got a plan, guys. I've got a plan. Rafael Devers is now up to $33. 35.
Yeah. Keeping with the theme, even, a little bit later in the draft, a couple dollar inflation on the second and first round type players. 35 is not a bad buy within the context of the rest of the draft. Freddie Freeman went for 38?
36.
36. So that's Rafael Devers for 35 is perfectly reasonable.
Yeah, I actually moved Devers ahead of Freeman in my rankings recently. So I'm happy with that exchange, getting Devers instead here for 35. Ooh. So that gives me Devers for 35, Salvi for 32, and Tatis for 17 so far.
All right. Jacob deGrom is out there, and we've had, I believe, 2 pitchers go so far. Corbin Burns went for 35, Garrett Cole went for 38, and Jacob deGrom goes for 31. Again, risk reward. That's basically the price you're going to pay for a late second-round player in Jacob deGrom. $31 is the final cost there. I mean, he can be the number 1 player in fantasy baseball this season. It all just comes down to his health. If he throws 150 plus, I think he's in the running for number 1 player in fantasy baseball. All right, next pitcher up, Walker Bueller going for $27 and now 28. All right. Walker Bueller, the, again, 4th starting pitcher out there. deGrom just went for 31.
What do you guys have Bueller for?
I have him for 32. He's up at 30 now.
Yeah, I have him for 29.
Okay.
Chris, you have him for 26.
26, yeah. So I'm a little lower, but hard to argue with 30.
That's a fair price. $1 less than Jacob deGrom. It sounds about right.
It's a fair price. I just didn't want to spend that much on any pitcher. Really, it would have had to be a ridiculous price for me to do it.
Mr. Velocity himself, Mitch Keller, thrown out.
This is a very, very smart bid because I would love to have Mitch Keller for $1. And even $2 isn't terrible, but there's no way I can justify $2 for Mitch Keller. He should be a reserve round pick.
Yeah,
he got him. He got him for $1. So
yep.
he didn't.
That was smart.
He didn't catch anyone eager to, overeager to reach for Mitch Keller just because
and that's
a lot of
what
money on the table.
What you do when you're talking about a late round flyer this early is you can just, throw them out there for $1. And if you get them for $1, you're happy about it. And if not, someone else probably spent $1 more than they needed to.
I would advise doing that not I mean, I would advise not doing that with like your favorite $1 targets, because your favorite is very likely to be someone else's favorite too, and then you're pretty much guaranteeing you don't get them for $1 if you do that. If you do it
Like,
this early,
it's possible you could get Patrick Sandoval in a salary cap draft for $1 if he just falls long enough, but doing that early is a certainty that you're not going to get him for that price.
All right. While we were talking, Adley Rutschman got thrown out for $8, and that's exactly what he went for. It's worth mentioning. I know Tim McLeod loves him some prospects, so I'll throw that out there as a prerequisite. Tim McLeod is the one who won Adley Rutschman. Lots of upside, but dealing with a triceps injury is Adley Rutschman, and maybe delays him a little bit more than we were expecting this season. Austin Riley is out there now and currently up to $23, which again is the same price that Tim Anderson went for earlier, which is about a third or fourth round player. So
more than I wanted Riley for, but again, reasonable.
23 is reasonable. Yeah, I actually have him at 27. I know I'm the highest of the three of us on him, but it doesn't seem like an overpay. Rutschman though for $8. I mean, I have him at I had him as a $1 player, so you can understand him getting pushed up just because of the buzz of top prospect. Is probably going to be up in the first half of the season. But that's definitely an indulgent bid, paying $8 for him.
All right. Luis Robert is the player that's out there now. He's up to $26, $27, 24 years old. Luis Robert. Lots of excitement this upcoming season. Now up to 30 buckaroos, $30, 31 to Chris Towers. $31 for Luis Robert. 32. Oof, where is this going to go to? 33 for Lou Bob.
It's not shocking. I mean, this is first round upside here. People paying for that kind of upside, like we've been seeing this whole time. It's a little more theoretical in Robert's case, but you can certainly see it. Oh, Frank, you ended up jumping in at the end there, getting your first 35.
Frank, you had to. You had to.
Look. Luis Robert is written down on my paper. Luis Robert and Kyle.
Let me see that. Let me see that number. Let me see that number next.
Oh, it's nowhere close to what I.
I mean, look, I've got him for 31. That's consistent with what we've seen. All of the, Rafael Devers went for 35. That's actually, a little bit of a better value than. Actually, no, I have him for 31 as well. So that is in keeping with what we've seen so far.
Yeah, and I have Luis Robert for $33 on the site. And I want him for 35. So I'm good with that. Starling Marte thrown out there for 19, and now he's up to 20. So I got my guy, Luis Robert. I didn't have any shares of Luis Robert in the drafts I've done yet this offseason. So happy to get him. All right. Starling Marte dealing with an oblique injury. Has not played in a spring game yet.
Really struggling with Starling Marte. I dropped him a decent amount, and he's still this is still a discount. He's going to go for 24. It looks like. I have him for 27, but I think I need to move him down because I couldn't bring myself to get close to putting in a bid for him. Maybe I'm too scared, but he's 33 years old. He's dealt with a ton of injuries in the past. It's the Mets, so whatever. It's hard to get the Mets off of you when you're there. Things tend to go wrong. So, obviously that's a joke, but it feels like he could age poorly. I mean, he's already aged really, really well. He's coming off arguably, one of his best seasons ever, but it's not hard to see things going wrong.
Yeah, he led baseball with 47 steals last year, did Starling Marte, but also missed a large chunk of the season with an oblique injury, which is what he's dealing with now. So not great there. And, he's someone that typically deals with a lot of these nagging injuries, and it's not good that he already has one and has not played in a spring game yet for the New York Mets. Eurodon Alvarez goes for $29 to Tim McLeod.
Eurodon Alvarez is the guy who could make the Vladimir Guerrero type jump this season.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He could represent the, that next true 4 category player, 300 batting average, 35 plus homers, just awesome counting stats. So lots to love there. Eurodon Alvarez.
I need to make a point of drafting him at some point. I don't think I've done it yet.
All right,
Max
Scherzer is the next one up here.
I was willing to stretch the budget there for Eurodon Alvarez. I actually went 28 when I have him projected for 27, just because I thought, okay, well, here's a guy who has first round upside potentially, like you guys were saying. And I missed out on those first round guys, but then somebody went 29 on him. So, even like the third round range of hitters, they're seeing that we're seeing the bids pushed up on them beyond what we've projected. So there are going to be a lot of discounts later on. And
pitchers are cheap right now.
Yeah,
relative to everything else right now.
Yeah, you just got Max Scherzer for 33, and Walker Bueller again went for 30. Jacob deGrom went for 31. So
yeah, I've got Scherzer as a $33 player. So that's actually the first player I think inside of the top 20 for my rankings who hasn't been more expensive than I have them projected for.
It's a good point. Yeah, I like Scherzer too. I was in there with you, Chris, but I don't know. For some reason, I didn't want to.
I thought you were going to push me for sure.
I've got the money. I could have, but I don't know why I didn't. I don't know. I guess I'm saving it for a rainy day. Jordan Romano is the next one up here. I believe he is the second closer.
Yep. Hendricks went for 21. Romano is at 14 right now, 15.
Make it 15.
So Hendricks starting to look a little better by comparison. But Romano, we haven't talked about this in relation to Kenley Jansen being signed now. He looks more secure in that role for the Blue Jays than when we've talked about him previously. He ends up going for 15, by the way.
All right. And before we get into our next bid, this is Will Smith, the catcher for the Dodgers. Got something that I need to promote here, and I want to share a little cheat code for keeping tabs on March Madness, and that's the CBS Sports mobile app. It's not only your gateway to watching every tournament game, but the best for lightning quick college basketball scoreboards, updating brackets, expert picks, and the latest news on all the action for the men's and women's tournaments. The app is free. Just search CBS Sports in your app store, and if you're like me, it'll soon be your go-to sports app for everything. Again, the CBS Sports app, download it for free. Will Smith, the Dodgers catcher, is up to $21. And I believe Real Muto went for 25.
25. So that's, I've got Will Smith a couple rounds ahead of Real Muto now. So I love that.
All right. Potential value savings with Will Smith, the catcher there.
Yeah.
All right. Scotty's up. A little nomination.
Yeah, I'm going to throw Taylor Rogers out of the Twins. Somebody who could be a very cheap closer. Is he going to go for very cheap this early? That's what I'm aiming to find out.
All right. Testing the waters here. Taylor Rogers. I believe he made his spring debut on Sunday, and I think he struck out the side is what I saw. He was very good last year. Numbers were all great for Taylor Rogers.
You know, I want to go back to Eurodon Alvarez for a second, just because I'm looking at his overall numbers so far through, effectively 2 seasons and really 1.5. Here's his 162 game pace so far in the majors. 290 batting average, 42 homers, 42 doubles, 106 runs, 129 RBI.
Wow.
I mean, if Eurodon Alvarez just does what he's been, he's going to be a first-round player. I mean, that is...
Now I wish I had gone 30 on him.
That's what you... that's now... I need to... yeah.
He's fun. Look,
he's coming off of like a down season relative to his incredible rookie season, and a down season for him was honestly basically what Rafael Devers did. Not quite the same counting stats, but yeah, no, I need to make him more of a priority for sure.
Jason Austin just jumped the bid on Julio Urias from like $10 to $24, and he won him. So, I mean, Chris, you were saying pitchers are going for less relative to other positions, but he just did a huge jump on Urias, and I don't know if he did so with the hope of winning him, but that's what ended up happening. By the way, Taylor Rogers went for $10, which, given the uncertainty surrounding his role, seems like a lot to me.
Yeah, I agree with that. As great as he pitched last year, we don't know for sure that, will he have the closer role to himself? I know Jorge Alcala is another name in that bullpen who's looked really good at times. A couple of years ago, Taylor Rogers.
Jerk.
Rogers got to 30 saves back in 2019, and that was with Rocco Baldelli as his manager. So there's that. And
yes, I love that one. Woo!
Scotty gets Brian Reynolds. He's hyped. $16.
Mad at Scott. That was a jerk move. We don't talk enough about what a jerk Scott is.
It's true.
He always gets away because he's like, oh, shucks, I'm Scott. And it's like, no. Just mean. Just rude.
Ruthless.
Right. David
Unbelievable.
Bednar
Jumping in there. You thought he was about to say sold, or what does he say now? Gone.
David Bednar is out there. He's currently up to $7. So
yep, no cheap.
Throw out fringe closers right now because they are all getting pushed up. Wow.
Oh yes.
I don't even think he is going to be the closer at the start of the year. I think it's going to be Chris Stratton. I don't know how long that'll last. Bednar's better, but yeah, $8. That should be a $1 or $2 pitcher right there.
All right. David Bednar goes for 8. Again, Taylor Rogers went for 10. And George Springer thrown out there for $22. Definitely not looking at anybody on this specific podcast to see what he does here on this bidding, but I don't know.
I don't think anybody really likes this guy.
No, definitely not. All right, he's up to $25 for Scotty. 26. We got ourselves a good old fashioned Scott versus Chris bidding war. Chris is currently winning at $28. Will Scott go? And he won't.
I won't. Chris got him.
That's
what I have Springer valued for, which is I'm higher on him than anyone else. He's a top 24 player for me, but obviously would prefer to be able to get him for a little cheaper. But it felt like a challenge, really, is what that was. Felt like Scott was calling me out.
Dylan Floro's currently out there for $3.
Yeah, I wish I had jumped straight to 3 after he went out there for 1. I went in there for 2. I can't pay 4 for Dylan Floro. I mean, that's somebody obviously I targeted more in the end game, and I was hoping to get him for about $2. 3 I could live with this early, but 4. Sometimes it's just worth leaping over the next dollar.
Yeah, yeah. That's one of the things you always have to think about is like, if you want a guy for $2, it might be worth paying that dollar.
All right, Teoscar Hernandez is the next man up here. It's up to $23. RJ versus Scott. It's the current bidding war. Scott has Teoscar for 25, and
I'm going to get him
sold.
All right. I'm glad I backed off George Springer. I'd rather have Teoscar at 25 than Springer at 29.
Take that, Chris.
Out. No, I mean, Chris got Springer for 28, so a little different. Only a little different, but I
almost talked.
I actually have. I have.
26 too.
I actually have Hernandez ahead of Springer in my rankings, so a little bit of steals there that Springer's not going to give you.
Yeah, same. I have Teoscar as my 8th ranked outfielder. I have Springer up at down at 15. Not down. I mean, look, he's a top 15 outfielder. Joey Bart out there for $3. Again, this is a 2-catcher league. This is a standard 5x5 roto lineup. So 2 catchers, 1 of every other infield position, 1 corner infielder, 1 middle, 5 outfielders, a utility bat, and then, of course, 9 pitcher spots, which you can divvy up however you'd like. 6 starters, 3 relievers, 7 starters, 2 relievers. Joey Bart went for $3, and Riley Green thrown out there, currently going for $5.
He was the next guy I wanted to throw out there as a $3 player and see what happened. So I wasn't going to get him. Looks like he's going to go for 7 here. And I mean, look, if he's on the major league roster to start the season, that could end up being a reasonable buy.
It could be, but I doubt anybody has him at $7 projected auction value. So we're still seeing, even, whether it's Taylor, Rogers, or David Bednar, or Riley Green, or even Joey Bart going for 3, like everybody is still going for more than we project them for. So there's not going to be enough money to go around later. That's abundantly clear.
I get frustrated when exciting players, like cheaper exciting players, get thrown out this early because it always feels like they go for more money than they should.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And right now, Pete Alonso is out there for $25. And will Scott win him for 25? No, because I bid 26.
Rank.
Sorry, Scott. Feel free to go 27 if you want him. But
I was thinking about it, but
all right.
I spent too much time thinking about it.
All right. I got 2 players on my list. So far, the plan is working out. I got Pete Alonso and I got Luis Robert. So, yay.
It's an interesting start.
Fun. You know, some power, a little bit of speed from Luis Robert. Not sure about, batting average, first 2 hitters, but we'll see. All right. Another fringe closer thrown out there. Scott Barlow. Next one.
I did jump straight to 3 this time, unlike Dylan Floro, but he's going to go for more than that.
Yeah. How much is the question? He's already up to
So
$8.
I'm probably going to leave this draft without any closers at this point. Just based on what we've seen, there hasn't been what I would consider a good value on a closer yet. So,
you know what?
Maybe we should stop nominating them and wait till nobody has any money.
Yeah,
no.
I think you guys should do that.
I'd rather other people spend their money on closers.
Okay.
You know what?
'Cause I'd rather have more money, relatively speaking, for more impactful players.
The most fair value for closers to this point, oddly enough, might have been Liam Hendricks for $21
Yeah, I think you're right.
to get the top
Relatively,
closer.
yeah.
I mean, I don't want to be the one to spend 21 on him, but
Oh, RJ with the jump bid on Charlie Morton. Is
I'm
RJ
not
a Braves fan? I think he is, right?
a
Yes,
Braves
he is.
fan. Yes, I just chatted with him today. He was wearing a Braves polo.
I did end up with, I waited on closer on starting pitcher in a draft I did earlier today with some NBC Sports Edge folks, and ended up with Charlie Morton and Max Fried as my 2 top starting pitchers, which, not the ideal 1 and 2, but I guess I'm a Braves fan now.
Go Braves. And Charlie Morton goes for $22.
It's fine.
I've got him at 19. Chris has him at 18. Scott has him at 24. Scott,
Yeah, but I didn't want to spend that much on a pitcher.
All right.
And it looks like, since they're all going for about what we projected them for or slightly less, that kind of everybody's plan. Let's see, is he going to get in my queue fast enough for it to pull from my queue? I dragged him to my queue. Is it frozen?
Scott, did you just auto nominate?
I don't know. Did I?
No.
It says the draft is suspended.
Okay, there we go.
All right, there we go. Marcus Semien is up. And what were you saying, Scott? I feel like you were making a point.
Just based on the way pitchers are being bid on or not being bid on, it looks like everybody kind of had the same plan at starting pitcher, which was to not pay up there so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at Scherzer at 33, and I'm feeling, even with the relative values, I'm feeling pretty good about it just because I did lock in one of the high
We
end
get
guys.
locked out again? Come on, man.
Bidding isn't working?
Yeah.
Yep, I was trying to go to 22 on Semien.
Yeah,
All right, so we're going to have to reset Semien there. But Chris, I believe you are a proponent of the hero starting pitcher strategy, right? You want to try and get one ace and then kind of build around that?
Yeah, I think 1 or 2 aces is the ideal way to go. And so in the context of a salary cap draft, I think you'd probably look at it as 2 high-end starting pitchers for $55 to $60, but 50 to 60, some range like that. And then, I mean, ideally, the rest of my pitching staff would probably be no more than $30. So, I think that's the way my ideal approach would be.
All right, Marcus Semien thrown back out there. We had a little hiccup in the system where he went for 21, but now he's back up to 24, and he is 1 for $24.
Oh, we're locked out again, it looks like.
Oh, geez.
Kind of like the same issue we were having with Tatis.
I did hit 25 for Semien, and then I was happy that it didn't register it. So
Don't tell anyone that, Chris. Oh, right. Are we going to do
Everybody
it again?
knows now. Yes, we're going to try one more time with Marcus Semien.
Okay. Third time is the charm, as you wrote in the chat.
As fun as this is to participate in, I'm sure it's even more fun to listen to.
Oh, yeah. Stick with us here. We appreciate you. If you're watching us live on YouTube, by the way, please hit that like button. Hit the thumbs up. We appreciate you. All right, Semien up to 25.
Anybody?
Going once.
Anybody?
That should be where it ends.
And gone. All right, that's official. Marcus Semien for $25.
That's a decent value.
You know,
one of the first like third round types who hasn't been a few more dollars than expected, at least for me.
Mm-hmm. All right, Kevin Gausman's out there. It's up to 12, 13, 14. Looking down at my sheet, I couldn't remember if I wrote down Kevin Gausman or not, but I didn't, so I will not be involved here. All right, Scott is bidding on Kevin Gausman up to $20. $20, 21 to Chris.
I'm not.
I
I had hoped he was one who I'd hoped to sneak away with for 20.
Yep.
But I'm not willing to go over budget for Kevin Gausman.
That's what I was trying to figure out, if you were willing to go to 22, because I wanted him for 20, and that's what I have him valued for. So there I have my two aces in Max Scherzer and Kevin Gausman for 54. As I just mentioned, that's kind of my approach.
And Ozzie Albies is the next one up here. He is all the way up to 29.
Top hitter available, right? I guess there's Manny Machado too.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Top hitter available for most people, I would guess.
Mm-hmm. And Ozzie Albies goes for $30.
Yeah, there you go. That's another second/third rounder who's not a couple more dollars than I have him projected for, at least. So
yeah,
it's a good buy.
I've got him at 31. Chris, you have him at 30. Scott has him at 29. So
Jason Austin tried to sneak away with another dollar pitcher here, Nestor Cortez, who's one I like a lot. Somebody bumped it to 3. Somebody bumped it to 2. Jason Austin came back in for 3. So I wonder if he cost himself a couple dollars by nominating Nestor Cortez now, as opposed to in the end game.
And I believe Nestor Cortez, he made his spring debut on Monday. 2 perfect innings with 2 strikeouts.
He looked pretty good. I was watching that one.
Following up Jason.
Does he ever look that good? He looks funny.
Whoa.
Does he ever look that good?
Wow. Byron Buxton just thrown out for $25 by Jason Austin, and no one bids.
You know what? I've got him as 27. I know I'm higher on him than most, but that's the kind of thing like RJ did early in the draft. I can't remember exactly who it was with, but it was one of the first players out there that Whit Merrifield, where he jumped it up to 24 and ended up getting him for, within the context of the draft at the time and within the context of the draft now, looks like a pretty good value.
I get the psychology of that, but the psychology of me is, I wonder if I had done that for 21 instead of 24.
Yeah, if you had jumped it up to 20, would it have also worked? Is certainly a fair question.
All right, Emmanuel Class A is out there. He's currently up to $14 and 16 for Emmanuel Class A. And I believe Romano went for 14.
Yeah, that
sounds right. So I think that's a pretty fair. That sounds about right. $16.
I hit the bid button too late because, given the context of the way the rest of the draft has gone with the low end closers, especially getting pushed up, like it makes Class A for 16 is a good buy.
Goodbye. Right. Brandon Woodruff thrown out there. See where this winds up.
It's approaching 30. Too rich for my blood.
Approaching 30 fast.
Oh yeah. He's gonna go. He's gonna go for right about the amount he should. So still not any obvious discounts here.
Yeah.
And I
You know
have
what I'm cranking? Oh no.
I don't.
33 is what he's up
There you
to
go.
now.
He's going to go for the same I paid for Scherzer, it looks like.
Yeah. And I I think that makes Walker Bueller the best bargain at this point. I think Bueller went for 30?
32.
Really? 32?
Yeah.
I thought he went for less than that. I could be wrong. All right.
You're right. 30.
Yeah.
I had him projected for 32. That's what I was thinking. Sorry.
That's a good buy.
Yeah. So Walker Bueller looks like the fairest value of, the top 2-round pitchers thus far. All right. Elias Diaz thrown out there. Again, this is a 2-catcher format, and he goes for $4. We are approaching the 1 hour mark. Thanks for everyone watching along, following along. Got 200 people watching us live right now. Appreciate you. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Carson Kelly up to $2.
We're seeing a lot of $1 catchers go for more than $1. Gotta say.
I don't know what the savings are going to happen somewhere.
It's a lot. Like, we got 4 hours of this.
Yeah, we're only 62 players in.
But there's a lot of inflation right now.
It's hard to stay patient, but
yeah,
got a long way to go.
And Manny Machado is thrown out there again. Scott, I believe you won Rafael Devers, right?
Yeah, for 35.
For 35. All right, so
yeah,
be interesting to see how
close. If you look at if you trust in the underlying numbers, the StatCast data in particular, Machado was basically the same guy as Rafael Devers last season. Both were about a 290 expected batting average, great power. And Machado stole 14 bases last year. So, I think you can make an argument that he's a little undervalued.
That's fair. Yeah, look, the StatCast numbers were great. He underperformed a lot. And Chris, you win Manny Machado for $32. So
yeah, I've got 4 of my top 24 players. I don't have a lot of money left. My max. I've got $102 left for 18 spots. So, I'm going to have to find some bargains at some point, but we think they're going to happen at this point.
So the key for you is probably going to be resisting the urge to jump in on another stud. You need enough money there to take advantage of the bargains.
Oh, thank God.
Chris Rude.
I threw Trevor Bauer out there for $1.
Yeah.
I'm at this point, I think it's more likely he doesn't play at all this season than that he makes 20 starts.
Yeah, he recently got his administrative leave extended.
It's for the first 2 weeks of the season. It's for a month from last Friday.
Yeah, I think it's through April 21st. I think that's the date.
Mm-hmm. I think it's likely. I think it's more likely he doesn't play this season than he makes 1 start, frankly.
It might be. Yeah. I mean, Dave Roberts last week, there was, we never saw the actual quote, I don't think, but Rich Eisen of the Rich Eisen show.
That turned out to not be true, Chris.
Okay.
Completely fugazi, apparently.
Huh. Weird.
Yeah, there was a follow-up afterwards, and they were like, he never said such thing. Like, I don't even know. Maybe someone just tweeted out the wrong thing from their account. I have no idea. Mm-hmm. But turned out it was not true at all.
Okay.
All right. No.
Oh, you almost had Trevor's Story for 21 there, Frank. And I was going to say that looks like a pretty good buy. I wasn't there for the emergency pod, you guys reacting to this, but the more I looked into it, the more I liked the prospect of Story at Fenway Park.
And
it's the best place he could have gone.
Yeah.
If he wasn't returning to Colorado.
Yeah.
And that's where I wind up with Trevor Story. I did go 1 higher. I win him for $23. I agree.
I've got him for 24.
Outside of Coors Field, I think that was the best landing spot. Obviously, you have the Green Monster there, right-handed hitter, hits a lot of fly balls. If those don't turn into home runs, could help the BABIP. Those will turn into either long singles or doubles. He's still fast enough. So
yeah, actually interesting. BABIP has been higher at Fenway Park over the last, I think, 3 seasons combined than Coors Field. Now, the Rockies have much, much, much worse hitters than the Red Sox. So, all other things being equal, I think Coors Field would probably have the same BABIP. But that's interesting. It's under. I think that's the aspect of Fenway that gets underrated is the impact it has on batting average.
So I just threw out Tyler Stevenson, thinking we're seeing all these $1 catchers go for $4 to $5. Stevenson might go for 12, and he ended up only going for 5. So I guess people end up, they think of him as being in the same tier with an Adley Rutschman or even like a Joey Bart.
Yes, that is. I am people.
Yeah, no, I am too. I gathered he was a more popular pick than that.
All right. Yep. Tyler Stevenson went for 5, and Zach Wheeler is currently out there. An interesting player right now to draft or bid on because, dealing with a shoulder concern, but throw bullpen over the weekend, 35 pitches. Sounds like everything came out all right. And there you go, Scott.
Not clear how much the shoulder is a concern because he missed his first spring start. And obviously when you know that he was dealing with shoulder soreness earlier in the offseason, that sets off alarm bells. But he apparently it was because of the flu. That's the official story. Anyway, I don't know if you want to be a conspiracy theorist. I don't. And so as far as we know, it's a relative non-issue.
Yeah, I'm willing to gamble on it. I'm getting a lot of shares of Zach Wheeler while this saga's playing out. I just won him here for $24, which is 4 less than I have him projected for. It's 4 more than I wanted to spend on my top pitcher. I wanted my top pitcher to be 20, but I thought it was worth breaking the budget a little bit for a guy who, before this shoulder issue came up, we all thought of him as a second rounder.
All right. Yeah. I think it's worth pointing out that Scott has 2 of the more risky players, relative risk, but Fernando Tatis and Zach Wheeler thus far. So interesting.
I mean, discounted both, but
yeah. And Paul Goldschmidt was the next player that went for $25. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to sign off hour 1 on the podcast side of things. And then we're going to come back with hour 2. But don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, we are into hour 2 here in our salary cap draft, and let's get you caught up on the latest. Oh, we've got a big spender. Carlos Hernandez went for $1, who is a very late round sleeper candidate for the Kansas City Royals. I don't even know if he's going to be in
somewhat interesting.
He is kind of interesting. He throws hard. He's got a few different pitches.
Looked good after, it's always interesting when a guy transitions from the bullpen to the rotation and sustains their velocity gains. I remember, actually, speaking of the Royals, it was Danny Duffy who made a similar transition when he had his his second breakout, when he was, they had kind of given up on him. They moved into the bullpen. All of a sudden he was throwing like 96. He moves back into the rotation and sustained it. So that's a potential undervalued aspect of pitching.
This has been a real slow grind here for Wander Franco. He started slowing down in the mid-teens, and I thought he was going to go for a real good discount, but, slowly climbing up there. Made his way to
pretty much right where he belongs. $20 is what he goes for.
I've got him at 17, so a little pricier than I would go, but I'm down on him a little bit in this format specifically.
Yep. Again, how much is he going to run? What's the power like? His first full season in the majors. I get it. There are question marks.
Who might be a pretty good comp for him actually is Brian Reynolds. And Brian Reynolds ended up going for what, 16 to Scott? Obviously Franco has more upside if, he makes a big leap, but I think the likelier outcome this season is that Brian Reynolds is better based on what we've seen from him. So, that's an interesting one. I'm not personally willing to pay the premium for Wander Franco this season, I guess.
I am willing to do it in a points league for sure. The plate discipline is fantastic. He's going to walk quite a bit.
Should hit more doubles than home runs, you would expect.
Okay, I thought I was about to win Xander Bogaerts for $15. I threw him out there, and I'm like, I don't even want him. I just wanted to start the bidding a little bit higher. So please, somebody.
I guess everybody's in the same boat because this is some reluctant bidding.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Everybody's plan didn't include Xander Bogaerts.
Somebody get in there.
They're getting in there. He's up to 20 now, so he's at least going for what Wander Franco did.
This is so tough because I've got him as a $21 player. Xander Bogaerts going for the same price as Wander Franco is I know it's a salary cap draft and things happen, but that is the best possible example of Wander Franco could be anything. He could even be Xander Bogaerts. Like Xander Bogaerts.
I think the likely scenario is he is Xander Bogaerts this year, for what it's worth.
Ooh, I think that's really underselling Xander Bogaerts.
I mean,
I know he wasn't great in the second half last season, but Xander Bogaerts, like, he's hit like 294 years in a row.
I think Wander Franco's an easy pencil him in for 290 kind of guy. Absolutely. As little as he strikes out. Yeah. I think batting average is very safe for him. And 20 homer power, like 20 to 25 homer power. If that's what I think Bogaerts is with the new ball, because he hit 23 last year. His exit velocities are pretty middling. So I see him as 20-25 homer guy. And I don't think that's too much of a stretch for.
It's worth pointing out. Xander Bogaerts, over the last 4 seasons, he took a big step forward in 2018. His 162 game pace, which, obviously there are fraught issues with using full season paces, but in his case, we're talking about the COVID season being the main thing holding his overall numbers back. 299, 30 homers, 102 runs, 108 RBI, 8 steals. Yes, maybe the 33 homers in 2019 and the 28 to 30 homer pace in 2020 kind of stand out a little bit, but that feels really aggressive with Wander Franco, I would say.
I think you're just a hater, Chris. I think you're a Wander Franco hater.
I think you're a Xander Bogaerts hater. I think you're a Xander Bogaerts hater. Xander Bogaerts is awesome. I don't understand.
He's a great player, but his power is he's not going to give you big power numbers in all likelihood.
Yeah, you guys are just haters. Everyone hates on Xander Bogaerts.
All right, let's catch people up. Since Xander Bogaerts went for $20, Adam Duvall went for $4. Scotty snuck in there with a little Javier Baez for $15, and then Shane Bieber goes for $29. So $1 less than Walker Bueller and $2 less than Jacob deGrom, which makes sense. That would make him a late second, probably early third round kind of player. Scott, talk to us about Javier Baez. I think you have him for $17 on the site.
Yeah, so I knew I was willing to go 20 on a second baseman, and he was there for 15, a guy who's going to help a little bit in stolen bases. So, I'm actually, for somebody who's being intentionally unintentional about stolen bases this year, I'm actually doing well in stolen bases in this draft. I got Tatis, I got Teoscar Hernandez, I got Baez. I didn't go for Whit Merrifield or Trey Turner or whatever, but I am. If this was a standard snake draft and I had accumulated this many steals up to this point, I would be ahead of my usual pace for sure.
All right. Shane Baz went in the meantime. He went for $4. There was some news about Shane Baz on Monday. Rays manager Kevin Cash told reporters that Shane Baz underwent arthroscopic surgery on Monday to remove loose bodies from his right elbow and that he will resume throwing in 2 to 3 weeks. That seems pretty optimistic for someone who's getting arthroscopic surgery. I mean, I guess it's not, anything too serious, but is he going to throw in 2 to 3 weeks? Really?
It's surgery on an elbow. This is, I don't know, like Mookie Betts was dealing with loose bodies in his hip last year, and there's lingering concerns about that. This is a young pitcher, a 22-year-old pitcher who throws close to 100 miles per hour, who's having surgery during spring training, even minor surgery. Like, there's no such thing as minor surgery for a 22-year-old starting pitcher, right?
No. I mean, it's pretty scary stuff, Chris. So
yeah. I considered throwing him out there up to 5, and I ultimately ended up throwing him out there for 3. Looks like someone wanted to go for 5 for Baz, but he ended up going for 4. So I don't know what we're gonna do. Looks like we're gonna leave it at 4. So I think $4 or $5 is a reasonable place to end up with a guy, like Shane Baz with that kind of upside.
All right, we're going to redo both of the last two here. Baz went for 4. Pablo Lopez went for 21. I think that was a jump bid situation.
21. So yes, someone might get saved from their Pablo Lopez bid.
We have to redo Baz anyway because somebody got locked out. So we'll just redo both.
All right, and he is at $5. So one more.
Let's see here. I want to know what kind of commissioner Scott really is.
All right,
Lopez should be 21, right?
I'm saying we're going to redo both because it was a jump bid situation. We
Right,
gotta wait
but
through it
someone
anyway.
put him out there for 20. That person
Oh my
shouldn't get bailed
gosh.
out.
I'm a nice guy, Chris. Sorry.
Wow.
It was
That's
obviously way too much for Lopez.
That's
so-
not what Chris said earlier. That's not what he said about you earlier.
Somebody made a point to put a $20 bid on Pablo Lopez. Someone else got jump bid on it. I'm just saying.
Well, if somebody wants to go 20 on him again, they can. But yeah, no, I mean, I never use the bid up one button just because I would be horrified if that happened to me.
Right.
I only do it when, it's the very end and I can only go $2 on anybody. That's like the only time I ever use the bid plus one button.
Lopez he looked great in his first start of the spring. It was obviously spring training. You don't want to take too much from it. And the concern about him isn't that he's good. I think we all agree that he's good. Concern is, the shoulder and just his ability to stay healthy in it. Oh my God. Texas just beat Cleveland 25-12
In baseball?
Yes. Not in the March Madness tournament.
I was like, what? Oh, now it all makes sense. All right. So that's why Scott threw Pablo Lopez back because he wanted to win him for $12. So it all makes sense now.
I'm playing the rest of the season under protest. I am George Brett running out of the dugout.
I've got Lopez for 12. Scott has him for 12 on the site. Carlos Correa is currently out there for 15. Make it 16.
Jeez.
Now
I've never gotten so much backlash for being generous here.
Generously stealing other players.
Carlos Correa just went for 17.
I'm such a nice guy. I let myself get Pablo Lopez for 12.
Yeah, that seems
whoever bidded 20 on him last time could have done it again. I wasn't going to bid 20.
SMH.
That's
Scott.
about the right price for Carlos Correa. Scott has him for 17. I have him for 16. Chris has him for 18. So we're looking at about the right price for Carlos Correa. And now Logan Webb is up. And Scott's jumping in. He's trying to find his pitchers.
Yeah. I'm going to let this one go, though. He's up to 20 now. I have him at 21. So that's not really much of a discount. I think we're going to get better discounts here. I don't know. I may regret that Lopez bid. It's, we may see like the Yu Darvishes of the world go for 12.
Yu Darvish had a pretty awesome start on Monday as well. I'll pull that up. I believe it was 3 scoreless innings, 5 or 6 strikeouts, something like that. So pull that up, let you know. And yeah, Darvish, 3 scoreless, 3 hits, 0 walks, 6 strikeouts. Pretty good. He was going up against a not so great Rockies lineup filled with prospects and young players. So good on Darvish. See him healthy out there. Oh, this is going to hurt me. No, don't do it.
Do it, Frank.
I can't. Oh,
you're going to do it?
I mean, I can, but
Lindor for 15.
I got Story. I got Story for 23. I didn't want to spend
a middle infield spot.
Yeah, Lindor a little cheaper for Correa, $3 cheaper. That's a good outcome for the person who got Lindor.
I wrote down Story or Lindor as my shortstop. That's who I wanted, and I spent $23 on Story, and Lindor goes for 15. Ah, that sucks.
The guy who won him is complaining.
He didn't want him.
Why not? It's a great price. Went for cheaper than Carlos Correa. All right, look, the Francisco Lindor hate has gone too far.
Yeah.
Well, if
I will say,
I don't think I haven't heard much hate except for me, and I'm even saying 15 is too low. So maybe this is the beginning of the discounts. Maybe this is where we're seeing all those overbuys.
Patrick
earlier
Corbin
coming into play.
Patrick Corbin just went for $1 to Jason Austin. Wow, Jason Austin has a lot of players already. He has all of his pitchers.
He's been quite aggressive.
Garrett Cole. He's got Julio Arias, Scott Barlow, Patrick Corbin, Mitch Keller, Jordan Romano, David Bednar, Nestor Cortez, and Carlos Hernandez.
So the problem here is he can't draft another pitcher until the reserve rounds. And so while he's got some interesting guys, there are guys like Carlos Hernandez and Nestor Cortez, and I think you could even throw Mitch Keller in there who, there are interesting things about them, but even if you get those guys for $1 or something like that, not having any more flexibility with your pitching staff when you have money is, I think, not necessarily worth it there.
That is fair. All right, what else is going on here? Giancarlo Stanton
Great value on Stanton.
$12. That's
What do you project Stanton for, Chris? I'm surprised.
I've got him at 19. Honestly, I wasn't looking. I didn't realize he was up. That's my bad. I messed up.
Oh, geez. All right. Well, another good buy there for Greg Lathrop again, our defending champion. Got Lindor for 15, Stanton for 12.
I think we're seeing it. I think we're seeing the transition from overpays to underpays here because Lindor at 15, Stanton at 12, Chapman, Aroldis Chapman here is going for 11. Now I haven't projected for 12, but most closers go for more than I project them for because I intentionally have closers push down my rankings.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's starting. It starts.
It starts now. And you know who's up? Sandy Alcantara. Let's see where this goes. Hopefully I can win him for $1. Oh, no, it's not going to happen. Jeez. All right, he's up to 18. Will he go higher?
Yeah.
How much higher is the question? Oh, no, come on. Don't do that, guys. He's up to 23, 24.
Well, it's what it should be. This is not going to be one of those discounts.
Oh,
I think it's the $10 to $15 range, or maybe the.
I think it's not the starting. I think it's more not the starting pitchers.
Well, starting pitchers were undervalued earlier, but I guess everybody still needs them.
Yeah, because like what we've seen, I get like Logan Webb for 20 is fine, but it's not a crazy discount. Pablo Lopez for 12 again, that's fine. So I think pitchers have mostly held steady, or starting pitchers at least. Relievers, not so much.
Sandy Alcantara goes for $27.
That's an example of potentially people seeing it as maybe the end of a tier. I don't have it ranked that way, but yeah, 27 is quite a little bit more than I have him for.
Here you go. RJ White just nominated Jesse Winker straight to 8. And he got him. I project Winker for 12, but I'm not eager to draft him now that he's with Seattle, which I don't think is a great situation for him.
And
hard to argue the price.
Yeah, Winker for 8. Just getting back to Sandy real quick. Scott, you and I both have him for 27, so it's a fair price for this format. But, geez, I thought I could have got him for cheaper. You know what has happened? And, I tell everybody not to do this, but I like the players that I want, they're being thrown out at the wrong time. They've been the end of the tier for players that I want, and ultimately that's led to those players going for more money than I want them to, more money than they should go for. So that's a lesson to all of you out there. If you want a player, either throw them out earlier, well, don't wait, because if they're the last player in that tier, they're going to go for more money, most likely. All right, Casey Mize goes for $3. Jorge Polanco went for 15. All right, kind of snuck that one by. It's not a bad price for Jorge Polanco. And Chris, you're up. You're up, good sir. Who will you nominate? AJ
Pollock.
I believe he got scratched from the lineup on Monday.
Wow. AJ Pollock, not currently healthy. Shock.
Who
General soreness, he's fine. Was hoping I could sneak him through. Would have been nice to sneak him through for $1. Wasn't sure I'd be able to do that. But AJ Pollock has been awesome over the past 2 seasons. Counting stats aren't going to be great. But he's got like a 900 OPS the past 2 seasons. So, nice player to have for $2. And, one thing that's nice about getting someone for $1 or $2 early in your draft, especially if it is someone you like I do with Pollock, is there's a little certainty there. You know, that you know how much you have left to spend. And you know, I like locking something in like that, even if like maybe I could have gotten Pollock for $1 later. I don't know. But in terms of the strategy, you know, there's value in that certainty as well.
All right, Aaron Nola going up to 27 as well. So the same price as Sandy Alcantara. And yeah, that's like an early to mid third round player. So I guess it makes sense. And just like that, the next player thrown out, Lucas Giolito. Oof.
I'm going to go ahead and guess he's going to go for right around $27.
That probably makes sense. RJ did his little famous jump bid to 25.
Gotta be honest, feeling good about Kevin Gausman at 21 in
Right.
light of those. I know, you know, we probably all have Gausman ranked a little lower than Sandy, Giolito, and who was the other one?
Nola.
I've got I've got Gausman right in that range, so feeling pretty good about that one.
And I wound up with Lucas Giolito. So RJ jumped him up to 25. I bid one more, and no one else jumped in. So get him for $1 less than Nola and $1 less than Sandy.
Exactly the trend I expected. You know, once we started talking about maybe the values were coming, not at starting pitcher. Starting pitchers are pretty much going for what they would at any other point in the draft. You know, if Sandy Alcantara and Aaron Nola had been nominated in the first 15 picks, they probably would have gone in the high 20s.
Right. I think the best values at starting pitcher have been the early round pitchers.
Yeah, the high-end guys. Yep.
Yeah, Chris, I mean, you wound up with Scherzer for 33. I mean,
Scherzer and Gausman for 54 combined, I'm very happy with.
In hindsight, I'd rather have Scherzer for 33 than winning Giolito for 26. So I think it's a good buy on your part. And Garrett Cole, I think, went for 38, and Burns went for 35. So I think the high-end starting pitchers were represent the best values so far in this draft. All right, Marcell Ozuna is out there for $6. Not anymore. It's up to 7.
Yeah, I think now that it's abundantly clear he's going to be an everyday player for the Braves, he's moved way up the rankings. I have him 29th in my outfield rankings right now as a $12 player. Chris gets him for 9.
Yeah, I thought about going to 10.
Yeah, I've got him for 12 too, so
I like it. This should be a fun one. Spencer Torkelson thrown out for $1. I think his counterpart Riley Green went for 7 earlier on.
7 or 5.
Yeah,
like that, yeah.
I'm not going to get him in this draft, but Spencer Torkelson is definitely somebody I need to start prioritizing. I have no idea who else plays first base for the Tigers. What probably happens if he doesn't win the job is Jonathan Scope moves from second to first, and they play somebody dumb like Willie Castro there until Torkelson's ready.
And that's kind of also true of center field for them, right?
They have Victor Reyes for center field with Riley Green. I feel like there's more momentum for Torkelson because Miguel Cabrera's like talked about how he wants him on the team and everything. But Riley Green, between the two, actually had the better numbers at AAA last year. So we'll see. It could be both.
Scott, I know that you've recently moved Spencer Torkelson up your ranks. I did the same thing. I moved him up to 23 in my first base ranks. And that makes him a $3 player, and he just went for 7. So, you know, a little bit more than that. Same price as his teammate, Riley Green. And now Corey Seager is out there. And he is up to $13. See where this one winds up. Scott versus Chris. Okay, Correa went for 17. Seager is exactly at 17, now 18.
He should go for more. And it doesn't always work out that way in these salary drafts because of the timing of nominations and everything. But it looks like Seager is going to go for more or less an appropriate price here. He's at Wander Franco's cost now, $20.
Yeah, I've got him at 24, so that, at this point in the draft, that feels reasonable.
Bogarts was a really good buy at, I think, same price, right? $20.
I mean, I'd rather...
This guy hates it.
I'd rather have Seager. I think Seager has more upside. I do have Bogarts one spot ahead, but they're basically even for me.
Yeah,
I
like
was
that
saying Bogarts.
Lindor too. Look, $15 for Lindor. I'll keep going back to that. It's too cheap. Too cheap. All right, Raisel Iglesias is out there, another closer, one of the top closers in the game. And he's all the way up to $9. See where this one winds up. All right.
We need to save our talking for when the bidding is happening, as opposed to right after the player is won. Yeah, I think so. Josh Hader hasn't been nominated yet, so we'll see if he ends up exceeding Liam Hendriks' $21. Right now, Liam Iglesias is at 15 after Emmanuel Clase went for 16. So relative to each other, you know, they basically went like they should, but relative to other closers, Iglesias and Clase both seemed a little bit discounted.
Yeah.
And he went to the champion. I'm not the champion, but Raisel Iglesias, I won him for $15.
What that tells me is, at least for our own room here,
Supposed to nominate a player. Whoopsie.
At least for our own room here, people want saves, but they're not willing to pay a few dollars extra for the more dominant save sources. They just want saves.
Yep. So I had I wrote $15 to $17 for, I wanted a top 8-ish, top 10 closer, and more than happy to get Raisel Iglesias for that price, who I have as the third ranked closer this upcoming season.
I mean, I think I have Class A slightly ahead of him, but 15 is, I'm low on closers, and I have him as a $15 player. So at this point in the draft, that's probably a pretty good value.
Mm-hmm. All right, Jose Altuve went for $19, and RJ throwing out Zach Greinke for $2. What do you say, Scott? You got $3?
It's kind of like my Pollock buy, where it's just, lock in a little bit of price certainty on your roster for a guy that, if you got him for $1, you'd be happy. Well, $2 is only $1 more.
I think
I'm good at math.
I think by the time we get to the end game, the thought of Greinke for $3 will seem ridiculous, just because of the quality of players you can still get for $3 at that point. Just based on the way this has played out with the people spending big early. Greinke for $2 is one thing, but Greinke for $3, not willing to do it.
It's one more dollar.
Yeah.
I'm good at math, guys.
It doesn't sound like much. It doesn't sound like much with like a Freddy Freeman, but for a Zach Greinke, $1 more is a lot.
50% more.
Yeah.
I'm really good at math, guys.
Robbie Ray went for $24, and now Tyler O'Neill is thrown out there, coming off of a breakout season. Some power, some speed, lots of strikeouts.
Honestly, I have no idea where to rank Tyler O'Neill. I have him 50th overall as a $20 player, and it's just like, I kind of just feel like I just put him there, and I just haven't thought about it since. Like, there's upside beyond that for sure. There's a lot of downside. There's a lot of ways things can go wrong. I feel like Tyler O'Neill might be a better example of the argument I've made against Austin Riley, of how things can go really, really wrong, and we're kind of paying for a premium for the version that things went right. But I think O'Neill has even more upside than Riley, because he could be potentially a 20 steal guy.
That's a good price. He goes for $14. So if he can stay on the field, I know he's dealt with some injuries. But man, the talent, the power, the speed, you look at StatCast, the max EV and the sprint speed, it's massive for Tyler O'Neill. So nice buy for $14. And now Dalton Varsho gets thrown out there.
I think I'm regretting my non-bid on Altuve for $20. I had room for another $20 player, and I overlooked it.
This is a good part of the draft to be looking for hitting help. Like if you passed on, like Frank did, if you passed on the first and second round type of guys, you can get a lot of fourth and fifth round guys for, really 14 to 20 right now, when they, should all be 20 plus probably.
All right, Scott, you wound up with Dalton Varsho for $10. So you got Varsho and Salvador Perez combined $42 there on your catchers. And man, this is more speed than I'm used to seeing on your team, Scott.
I agree. It sounds like Dalton Varsho is going to be basically the everyday center fielder, backing up at catcher as well. So he'll make occasional starts there. But a catcher eligible player playing every day somewhere else and having the ability to steal bases, like in this format, 5x5, I'm not sure he isn't the catcher I want the second most to Salvador Perez. So I will definitely take him at that cost.
All right, Josh Hader goes for $19. Again, Liam Hendricks earlier went for 21. I got Raisel Iglesias for 15. So 19 sounds about right for Josh Hader. And now Chris Bryant is out there. And he's
just signed with Colorado. So we've been talking him up since then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, lots to
like I said, this is a really good time to be filling out your hitter spots. Because Chris Bryant probably should be closer to a $20 player. And he's going to end up there. No discount on Chris Bryant. So
yeah.
I was wrong about that.
That's fine.
And that's where he goes. So, no, he's up to 21.
19.
All right.
Okay.
Very sneaky. Jose Altuve again went for 19. So just to put that in perspective, Chris Bryant goes for 21. That is the final price for Bryant.
And Corey Seager went for 20. I think that's probably maybe a couple dollars extra on Chris Bryant, but he's in the news right now.
Yep. So that basically, look, he's being valued as a top 50 player now. And
he should be.
I don't think that's crazy. Yeah.
I think a 300 average with 30 home runs. I'll be a little disappointed if he doesn't get to that. I think he has the potential to be what Nick Castellanos was last year.
Yeah.
But with more walks in leagues where that matters.
All right. Cattel Marte is the next player up here, and he's currently at 17. No, make that 18.
So he's not really going to go for a discount either.
He is not.
Well, depends who you ask. Some of us think he might be a $26 player.
Wow.
Ooh.
So how high is he? So he's well ahead of Chris Bryant for you then.
Yes, he's my number 36 overall player.
Wow.
I love Cattel Marte.
And I wound up
because I would be disappointed if Cattel Marte didn't hit 315
with 30 home runs.
I don't know about 30 home runs in Chase Field. Chase Field's an especially hard place to hit now for power, but 30 home runs certainly isn't off the table.
Mm-hmm. And I jumped in and I wound up with Cattel Marte for $19.
I like it.
So to this point, I have Pete Alonso, Cattel Marte, Trevor Story, and Luis Robert. And then I have Gelito and Raisel Iglesias as my two pitchers. So look at that. We are an hour and a half in. I've got 6 players. I don't know if that's good. It's probably not good. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Kyle Schwarber is out there. The beefcake, Scotty.
Yeah, I don't know that I have the money for him, but we'll see. We'll see what the bidding gets up to.
Alrighty.
I would guess you guys have him for around 15.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I've got him at 17. So
I've got
given where hitter prices have been in the last handful of picks, you would think 12 would make sense, but he's up to 15 now. So
yeah,
no discount on him. No discount on Chris Bryant.
There will be discounts. I am trying to be Dalton Varsho. I was willing to splurge for because I think he's a one-of-a-kind player. So I got him for 10, which I told myself going in. If I told myself coming in, if you can get Varsho for 10, do it. So I listened to myself.
All right, I had to do a double take to make sure that name was correct, but Miguel Cabrera has just been thrown out for $1.
One thing I will say is Miguel Cabrera is a player who it's a shame that the shift changes aren't in effect now, because I feel like he's been impacted by the shift a little bit, and his quality of contact metrics are actually still pretty good. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if we got one, I hate this term, but dead cat bounce season from Miguel Cabrera, where like he's not amazing, but he hits like 265 with 30 homers.
Ooh.
Oh, I
I
tried
was
to
looking
bid.
at Nolan Arenado going there for 14.
I tried to bid, Scott.
Oh, did you get locked out?
Yeah, it wouldn't let me.
All right. Let me see if we can redo that. Oh, come on.
It's all good. If
No.
all right, yeah. Arenado was at 14, and Ryan Presley was the next player, but I think we're gonna have to redo this. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, we
for
had
hanging
multiple
out.
people locked out on Arenado, so he's not going to go for 14.
Yeah, 200 people here watching us live on YouTube. We appreciate you. Hit that thumbs up, like if you haven't already. If you're just kind of scrolling in here for the first time, subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/fantasybaseball today. We do usually at least one mock draft per week. This is not a mock draft. This is a real draft. We are playing this out. We do our full-length podcast Sunday through Thursday evenings as well. We throw FBT and 5 on the channel, so if you haven't already, please subscribe. Let's have some fun. Nolan Arenado, throw him back out there. All right. Let's see what this gets up to, because it sounds like some people wanted to get in on the bidding here for Nolan Arenado.
All right, so now he's up to 16 right away. Do you want to go 17, Frank? You locked out now? Do it.
Nah.
Okay. That's a pretty good price for Arenado.
Yeah.
But not a really good price for Arenado.
I didn't really want him. He's not who I have written down at third base, but when I saw him at 14, I was like, you know what? I'll jump in, but not at 17. Come on. Who would do that? It's way too much. Just kidding. All right. Ryan Presley is the next one up. Another closer here. All right. Someone do something. I thought he was going to go for a buck.
I have to mention, I just saw this tweet go by. It's Bill James' top 10 starting pitchers.
Uh-oh.
Max Fried is number 3. And Ranger Suarez is number 10.
Oh, baby.
All right. Let's go.
Father
Let's go,
of, what's his nickname? What's Bill James' nickname?
The godfather of sabermetrics.
Why is he a godfather, not just a regular father?
I don't know.
Regular father is like a bigger deal than a godfather, right?
Forefather.
Oh, all right. I've got a.
That's the term they use about the George Washingtons.
Let's see. All right, we'll throw this guy out there. Brandon Lau for a buck. And
for our listening audience, you should probably say the name of that guy.
That is
when you
yes.
throw him out there.
Brandon Lau is the one that I threw out. Ryan Presley went for $12. It seems like a pretty fair price for him. And I'll let you know how much Brandon Lau goes for. But before then, let me tell you about a new show coming to Paramount Plus. Some of you definitely played the game when you were younger. Earth's most advanced warrior, Master Chief, must defend humanity from the alien species, the Covenant, while unlocking dark secrets from his past in the new Paramount Plus original series, Halo. Stream it March 24th exclusively on Paramount Plus. Head to ParamountPlus.com/Halo to try it free. And as someone who grew up playing Halo, I'm very excited about this.
I'm still playing Halo.
You know, Chris, I got Halo for Christmas, and I just haven't had the time to
I
play
haven't played the campaign yet, but the online multiplayer is very good.
I played
I'm
that
having
a
a good time with that.
It's fun. It's a good game. But, man, there's so many games to play. Pokemon came out. There's so much going on. Anyway, Brandon Lau, there's a draft going on. He went for $17. $1 more than Nolan Arenado. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
I had a feeling Brandon Lau was going to be the first that goes for like shockingly cheap just because of the playing time issue in Tampa and the batting average liability, but it didn't happen. 17 is
it's fine.
It's fine, yeah.
Oh, man. Now, do I want to go 15?
Alex Bregman is who's up. Frank had him at $13. He was frustrated that he couldn't get him. He's gone up to 15. Folks, this is riveting stuff.
Yeah.
Frank's not going to get him at 15. Chris Mitchell jumps in for $16.
We're punting at third base. Great job.
Worth remembering, 2 years ago, Alex Bregman was a $40 player in a lot of salary cap drafts.
What was wrong with us? We were nuts. I'm pretty sure I was driving that bus. So
well,
not bad.
I quoted you in one of my pieces recently talking about your 2020 third base preview.
2019. 2020.
No, going into 2020. Where you said you've never seen a position in your 20 years covering fantasy sports
Yep.
that was deeper than third base? And I don't bring that up to criticize Scott.
No.
It's mostly
changed.
just to point out how far things have gone, but also how little removed we are from an era where we thought third base was historically deep, and how, I don't know, I'm starting to think we're going to get there. I don't think third base is going to be a disaster between Bobby Witt likely having third base, Chris Bryant getting to Coors Field. I think third base it's going to be okay.
Yeah. You mentioned it. Things are getting better. Josh Donaldson traded over to the Yankees.
If you play on Yahoo, Wander Franco's third base eligible, I'm pretty sure. So that helps too.
Fair point. Mitch Haniger, while we were talking, went for $10. Seems like a very fair value for
nice
for
discount. So we saw Giancarlo Stanton he was discounted a few bucks as well. So that's the range right there. I don't know where that is I guess right around pick 100 in my rankings.
Yeah.
This is where we're seeing the discounts applied.
Ozuna for 9. I have him 119 overall, I think. So probably that same type of range. Cruz for 9 is a little bit of a premium, I think.
Thank you, Chris.
Relative.
I expected him to go for less, but I have him projected for 10. He went for 9, but now I'm looking for players who go for under what I project them for, like well under.
All right,
more than
Nelson
$1.
Cruz. I've got Nelson Cruz for 11, and I snagged him up for 9. Can he play third base? I don't think so. And Charlie Blackmon. Chris throws him out there for $2.
Might win him, Chris. I hope that's what you
try
want.
Again, trying to do the AJ Pollock, see if I can sneak him through and, lock in some price certainty for a player who I think is going to be, someone jumped in for 3. That was weird.
Did it reset?
That was weird. Yeah. I wasn't going to go 4. I can't imagine anyone else is, so it's fine. But I would have been happy to get Charlie Blackmon for 2. He went for 3. Perfectly fine to let him go too. But I do think Charlie Blackmon's going to hit, 275 to 280. He's probably going to score a decent amount of runs. I don't think you're going to get a ton else from him, but you can do a lot worse for a $2 player.
Chris, are you only targeting outfielders that are over 35 years old?
No. Juan Soto's young.
I know,
Marcell Ozuna's not 35.
You got Pollock, right?
Yeah, is George Springer 35? He's only 32. See?
All right.
I only have one under 30, but only one over 35 too.
All right. It balances out. You got Juan Soto in there, so definitely helps. All right, Willie Adames is out there for $9. He's now up to 10, 11, 12.
Yeah, he's not going for a discount either.
Nope.
This won't be like the head-to-head points version where he went for $3. 12 is what he goes for, so
12. All right.
I had the $11 bid, and somebody went just one more than I was willing to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we all have them for $12 on the site, so
there you go.
Yep.
Solid.
All right, let's try this one. Let's try another guy who's been in the news. One Joshua Donaldson.
Josh Donaldson's been in the news. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
The perception is his value is improved with the Yankees. I'm not so sure that's true, but it does that seems to be where the consensus is right now. So there was a jump bid straight to 5 after I nominated him. I have him projected for 4.
I've got him for 7, but obviously once you're talking about 115 picks,
what happened
again? Another. Did you want to go up to 8, Frank, on Donaldson?
I might
be
have.
honest. Be honest.
Yeah, I might have. I don't. Yeah, I just saw it happen so fast, so I know it didn't reset, but
yeah, this is turning out to be a great advertisement for our salary cap draft program here. So we're gonna redo Donaldson here.
All right. We'll throw him out.
I'm working on it.
Boy.
Here he is. Don't let me down, Frank. Go straight to 8.
All right. Should I?
Come on. I'll win him for
I'll
$1.
throw him out. I'll throw him out.
There you go.
I'll put him out at 8. And if anyone else wants him, he's yours. Any takers for 9? No. All right. I'm all right with that. I have Josh Donaldson exactly at $8 in the rankings, and he will be my starting third baseman.
All right.
Don't love it, but we shall see. Speaking of third base, Max Muncy, just thrown out there, started at third base on Monday, made his spring training debut for the Dodgers. I'll check out what he did. But
third base. So they're really putting that arm to the test.
They sure are.
It's his non-throwing arm.
But yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I guess they want him to get some practice in the field leading up to the start of the season so they can use him there if they need to, but they don't really need to use him there anymore because they have Freddy Freeman at first, obviously, and one of Chris Taylor and Gavin Lux is going to be in the lineup every day at second base, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It sounds like Muncy will only have to play the field occasionally.
Yeah. Universal DH now with the Dodgers, and Max Muncy goes for $10. Mentioned he made his debut on Monday. He went 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout. I haven't seen anything bad about him, so I'm going to assume that he came away okay so far. And Jose Abreu is the next player thrown out there. We are approaching 2 hours in, and I have Donaldson and Nelson Cruz. Those are 2 old guys on the same team. Jeez. Things went a little sideways here. Jose Abreu is up to 11. Chris is in. Kind of. See how high he goes.
Surging past 15, so not a discount there either.
I've got him for 22.
Okay.
But not willing to go to 16 at this point in the draft.
Seems like a very fair price.
I do need to keep some powder dry because I don't have any speed. So that's something that I'm going to have to keep in mind. I should have gone an extra $1 on Outer Belgium Odyssey. I wasn't paying close enough attention.
Jose Abreu again went for 15. I've got him at 17. Scott at 18. Chris has him at 22. Goodbye for RJ White.
At this point, when I see a name like Josh Rojas nominated, I know it's Jason Austin who nominated him. Like, I don't even have to look.
Does he only have $1 bids available?
He's got a max bid of 5.
Oof. Same thing for...
But he only has 3 lineup spots left, so...
Gotcha. Yeah. All right, yeah.
He's...
Christian Yelich thrown out there. Next name up.
It's a mixed bag because he's won a lot of those low-end $1 players by throwing them out there. So, just because he has a full lineup at this point and not much money, it doesn't mean he has a lineup full of studs.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for him.
All right. Yelich is up to $12. Scott is in. Chris is in. Chris now at 13. I have the rankings up, so I know exactly how much he's worth. And boom! Chris gets him for $13. How do you feel?
That's a discount for me. I've got him as an $18 player, but I am higher on Christian Yelich than pretty much anyone. I think the only person I've broken the fantasy baseball community's unspoken pledge to rank Christian Yelich and Cody Bellinger back to back. I have Christian Yelich about a round higher than Cody Bellinger, but yeah. Wish it had been a little cheaper than 13 at this point.
ADP has them about a round apart, so.
But Bellinger's ahead, right?
I think Yelich is ahead. Could be wrong.
Okay.
But yeah, I kind of wish I'd gone 14 there. I was hedging, looking at the hitter options remaining. But there are still a handful that are better than Yelich, but it's unlikely I'm going to have the funds for them. It's unlikely they're going to go for less than 14. That's for sure.
And, none of them probably have the upside he does.
Right.
Blake Trinan went for $8 while we were
That was
talking.
a really good buy. That was a really good buy.
Yeah, I like that. I think Taylor Rogers earlier went for 10 or something. I'm trying to bid, just letting you know. All right, there you go. Goes through.
I was trying to too, but I don't know that I want to go 11. So you got that $10 bid in first, Frank, for Cody Bellinger.
Oh, sniped at the last minute, but you should go 12. That's your guy. Come on. I went 13. It's only right.
And so far, so good. Will anyone in?
Got him.
Anybody else jump in?
There you
No. All right, I got Cody Bellinger for 12 buckaroos.
Yep.
All right.
And these are other players who are right around pick 100. So I think we found the range. Like 75 to 100, they still tend to go for face value.
Okay,
These
Franmil Reyes. Go ahead, Scott. What were you going to say?
Here's where the discounts are being applied.
Franmil Reyes is at 7. For reference, I won Nelson Cruz at 9. So these are, outside of Ohtani, these are the other 2 util only bats that you're really focused on in the top 150 or so. Franmil Reyes now up to 10. Going once, going twice.
I'm actually a little bit surprised that Franmil Reyes didn't end up being cheaper than that because he just feels a little overlooked this season.
Yep. Chris, who would you rather have, Franmil Reyes or Nelson Cruz? They went for, $10 and $9 respectively.
I do have Nelson Cruz a little bit higher, but I think both are great. I think there's more upside for Nelson Cruz in batting average is the big difference.
All right. Brandon Belt was thrown out there for $1, now up to 3. I assume he'll be someone's corner infielder.
It's a solid pickup.
And sold for 3. Yeah, look, when he is on the field, he's great, Brandon Belt. So, like the Giants have done with many other players the past couple of seasons, they've been able to get the most out of Brandon Belt, Brandon Crawford. As long as your name is Brandon, you should be all right. Yasmani Grandal is now up. And Scott, you
for
won.
A second, it looked like he was going to be a little bit of a discount.
Scott, you won Varsho for 10, right? Okay. Mm-hmm. Just for reference, because I feel like these two go around each other in terms of ADP.
Yep.
And Grandal goes for 9 to me. Yay. All right. So this is going all right. I've got Grandal. I've got Pete Alonso, Cattel Marte, Josh Donaldson, Trevor Story, Cody Bellinger, Luis Robert, Nelson Cruz. I've only got 2 pitchers, though. Lucas Gelito and Raisel Iglesias. So we'll work on that. And Jack Flaherty. Chris, you threw him out there for $3? I think are you muted? Yeah, I think you're muted.
No, I put in a 4 and it didn't take it. So I think a lot of people were lost out.
Yep. $3 is not the most I would be willing to go for Jack Flaherty, but I probably not much more than that. I think at this point, we learned that he's been pitching through a scapular injury in his shoulder. In addition to having a PRP injection in his lat recently. So we know he's starting the season on the IL. I think there's a very, very high risk of the season just completely imploding on Jack Flaherty, but obviously there's upside.
Yeah, it's scary. Scary time right now for Jack Flaherty. And we're going to redo that bid and we'll let you know how much he goes for.
I accidentally closed the draft room.
So I was trying to get the draft room configured here. Chris, if you could nominate Flaherty for 3. But you guys mentioned the tear that was discovered in his shoulder. He's saying he's had that for years and it's nothing new. And he was kind of perturbed that the Cardinals reported it as a tear in his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you just covered that, but
I would get that would perturb him. But it's not the kind of thing that we can just overlook, I don't think.
Yeah.
All right. He's up to $6 now. I believe Tim Canick, who does a lot of drafts with us, I think he's a Cardinals fan. I could be wrong, but I feel like he's always going after Goldie. I think he drafted Arenado. Tim, if you're watching, let us know in the chat. You're a Cardinals fan. Jack Flaherty goes for $6, and now Chris Sale is up. So back-to-back risky, some risk reward here. Starting pitchers. Chris Sale dealing with a stress fracture in his rib. We don't really know exactly what the timetable is for him.
Would rather have Chris Sale than Jack Flaherty at this point, personally.
And Sale goes for $5, so $1 less than Jack Flaherty.
I think I'd still rather have Flaherty, but for this particular draft, I don't want either. There are so many starting pitchers out there still.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's actually a decent number of high-impact players still left.
Frank, you ready?
Uh-oh. Don't do it.
Here comes the money.
Oh!
Here comes the money.
Here it comes.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Whoa! Jeez. Jump
bid to 16.
1 to 16. All right. I mean, you could have them, bud.
You're out.
I'm out.
Barely had time to play the little tune there.
Yeah. Wow. That went fast. Well, good knowing you, Shane McClanahan. Jeez. All right. Winds up going for 16 to Tim, who does confirm that he is a Cardinals fan. So I know he likes Flaherty, McClanahan quite a bit.
Where do you guys have McClanahan in terms of dollars?
12.
I'll check it out. I have him as a top 30 starting pitcher. So let's see what that comes out to. I have him for 15. So he went for 16. $1 more than I'm willing to spend. There's just a few other pitchers out there that I want to target before I get to McClanahan, which I no longer can get, of course. Jonathan India is out there for 9, and that's a pretty damn good price. Go, Scotty, go.
That's a good one.
Got some more steals, baby. Piling up those 10 to 12 steals.
You got a lot of those guys, Scott.
I know. What am I doing?
Yeah.
I'm gonna move Fernando Tatis to my bench so I don't get confused and think I already have an extra shortstop.
Although you won't be able to bid on that, right?
Yeah, I guess so, right? Because the bidding is only for your starting roster, and then we'll do a reserve draft right after this ends. So I think you've got to leave him somewhere in the lineup.
All right, so yeah, I'll leave him. I'll stick him. Where'd he go? No, I'll stick him in the outfield.
All right, Tommy Edman is the next one.
I don't know if the room will force me to do what you guys are saying, but I'll do it just for the sake of the draft results.
Tommy Edman's currently out there for $8 to Chris, who needs some speed. He has a need, and he has. All right, Raz beat on went in for 9, and then Chris back in for 10. Okay, and will it go down? It does. All right, Chris.
I don't like Tommy Edman. But yeah, I don't have a second baseman, which is not as big of a concern, but 2, I do need steals, and I don't think he's going to steal 30 bases again, but I think he's a pretty solid bet for 20, and him and Yelich are the only players I feel confident will have more than 10 right now on my roster. So, yeah.
Alrighty. Colton Wong is the next one up. And, I had a $3.
He's a guy who could steal 10 plus bases.
Oh, yeah. He can go 15-15. It's definitely possible. It's a solid
Colton Wong's such a weird player. If you look at his career lines, it's like he's a different player every year.
Oh, yeah. He's bounced all over the place.
It's so strange. Like
he was a solid player the last year for the Brewers.
Yeah, he was 272, 14 homers, 12 steals. 2 years before that, he was 24 steals, 11 home runs. He's had some years where he's been a good batting average guy. He's had some years where he's walked a ton. It's like Xander Bogaerts was like that earlier in his career, where he just kind of did something different every year.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, a much different caliber of player there.
Yeah, and what Colton Wong did last year,
Xander Bogaerts,
the 14 homers, 12 steals for Colton Wong. He did that in only 116 games. So if this guy could stay healthy for 150, I mean, he could be 18 and 15, 20, maybe 20-15, something like that. Nick Castellanos is out there right now, recently signed with the Philadelphia Phillies. And much like Trevor's story, outside of going back to Cincinnati, winding up with the Philadelphia Phillies might have been the best landing spot for Nick Castellanos.
That's the best value of the draft. $15 for Nick Castellanos. I've got him as a $26 player, even if you guys aren't as high as him.
What I have him for.
Yeah, that's a great buy.
Yeah, I was tempted to go 16, but that's really stretching me thin for half my team if I did that.
And this is the unique part of a salary cap and auction draft where I'm with you, Scott. Like, same thing. I wanted to go 16 on Nick Castellanos, but I've got some money budgeted for pitchers, and pitchers are just not being thrown out right now. So
I don't have any other outfield spots left.
Kenley Jansen now up to $10, and that's a good buy. So the fringe closers earlier on in the draft, they were inflated, and now some of the closers going at this point are going for very good value. So Kenley Jansen goes for the same price as Taylor Rogers went earlier on in the draft.
It's kind of a flattening of the value of closers, basically, where the Raisel Iglesias and Emmanuel Clases, they do go for a little more, but not the difference between them and the mid tier and the bottom tier isn't as wide as you see in like a snake draft.
All right, I just threw Justin Verlander out there. Let's get some pitchers on the board here, man, because it feels like a while since.
A lot of great pitchers left still.
Yeah, like we had that little run of Flaherty, Sale, and McClanahan, but yeah, there's a lot of good pitchers left. We need pitching. I need pitching.
You're
not going to be a discount on Justin Verlander, and there probably shouldn't be. I mean,
No.
the way he looked in his first spring start, averaging 95 with his fastball, he was basically looked like he did in 2015 or 2019 in that regard.
Yep. Throwing just as hard at 39 as he did at 36.
Yeah.
Which is the first big question that he had to answer.
And he goes for $16, which, look, Scott is the highest one of all of us in terms of ranking Justin Verlander, 79th overall, and he has him for $16. So that's about right.
Yeah, I'm at a point here where I think I'm only going to buy players who are discounted, which there are sure to be players who are discounted.
O'Neal Cruz is out there. Guy hit another, just a golf shot on Monday. I mean, he's fun.
The power is stupid easy for him. Like it's completely effortless. I don't know if he's going to be able to put that into action in games. His career has been very hit or miss in that regard, but
broke out last year though.
And the underlying numbers are all, from what we've heard from the minors, from what he did in his very brief major league stint last season, he seems to be in that Stanton, Judge, Vlad Jr. raw power range, like legitimate 70+ grade raw power. And so I want him for 7, which also gives me some stolen base potential.
Yeah. The big question is when he's going to be up. So I've been poring over beat writer articles for every team. And the consensus among the Pirates beat writers is that it's probably not going to be on the opening day roster, which is silly. But that is often the way it goes. How long the Pirates will be able to keep him down, or if Cruz hits like 4 more homers before the opening day gets here, can they justify keeping him down at all? I think it's fair to wonder. I just put out my top 30 position battles for spring training for fantasy baseball purposes. The Pirates shortstop was number 1. That's the one.
The thing is, it's not actually a position battle. It's O'Neal Cruz versus the Pirates' willingness to call him up.
Yep.
He has played only like 6 games at AAA, so there is certainly a development argument to make against calling him up. But I mean, if he has a monster spring, if he continues to have a monster spring, it's going to be harder to make that argument.
There's not a is this guy better than him argument. The Pirates don't have a reasonable option at the shortstop position that they could play over him.
Right.
All right. While we were talking, Ha-Seong Kim went for $3. Luis Arias went for $2. And Jazz Chisholm is currently up, and he is up to $12 thus far. And if you need speed at this point, definitely makes sense to be in on him. And that's exactly what Chris needs. He needs some speed. And will you win him for $13? There you go.
Technically
All right,
a discount on what I have him for. I just dropped $30 in the span of about 6 players on Jazz Chisholm, O'Neal Cruz, and Tommy Edmonds. So that's not enough speed for me to win, but it's probably enough for me to stop worrying about it too much, hopefully.
Yeah, I was with you on Cruz. I was debating. How high would you have gone for Cruz, Chris?
Probably not much more than 7. I mean, I've got him ranked really high, and he's still a $7 player. I've got him in the top 150.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think I would have gone that much further. But look, there aren't a lot of stolen base threats left, and pretty much all of them are outfielders at this point. And I can only draft one more outfielder. So,
Right. All right. Well, Eddie Rosario goes for $4. And now Mitch Garver is up. Mitch Garver traded to the Texas Rangers. Hopefully we don't worry as much about playing time anymore. And, still trying to figure out the park, Globe Life Field. How does it play overall? But I don't think it would matter for his level of power. Like he hits shots.
It certainly doesn't matter for his level of power relative to other catchers, which I think is the most important way of looking at him. $7, Frank, you won Mitch Garver for, which is fine. That was a case of I nominated Garver, even though I already have Salvador Perez and Dalton Varsho. So that was a case of me just throwing out a guy I know I'm not going to win.
Right.
But like he'll certainly go for more than $1 just so I can drain people of money that they might spend on a player I do want to win.
Yeah, no, it's smart. I've got 2 catchers now. I spent $16 total on Garver and Yasmani Grandal. And now Yu Darvish is out there. And we need some pitchers. Come on, someone nominate pitchers. Darvish is up to 10. Double digits. How high will he go? Scotty's got him for 11. And now 12.
I was afraid of that.
Will Scott go 13? And he will. He will.
I should have just gone straight to 12 instead of going to 11.
And you know what's so funny, Scott? When you mentioned earlier, you bid $12 on Pablo Lopez, and you said, Darvish might go for $12 later on.
I did say that.
So
I guess I can't feel bad about getting him for 13.
Right.
So the best pitchers who are left and are better than Darvish, there are a few still. Lynn.
I've got Barrios, Lynn, Musgrove, Peralta, Castillo, and Rodon I have ahead of him as well.
So here's one nominated right now, Lance Lynn. We'll see how much, if he does go for more than 13.
Oof. And there's a jump in to 13.
Yeah.
RJ's probably watching.
That's sneaky RJ.
Because he was, I feel like RJ was price enforcing me on Jazz as well.
Oh. And will he get him?
Okay.
I think so. Lance Lynn goes for $15 to RJ White.
So I kind of like the idea of Darvish here because however his season plays out, he's going to have a ton of strikeouts. Mm-hmm. And I think the way I'm constructing my pitching staff, where I'm not going to have many high-end arms, like strikeouts is the category that's going to suffer the most because of that. So I think he's a good fit for like my specific team build, even though obviously there are question marks.
All right, Nick Senzel goes for $2, and he's part of, I guess you can call it a position battle in Cincinnati. They have 4 spots for, I believe, 6 players. They have 3 outfield spots, and the DH, Aristides Aquino is involved. Jake Fraley, who they acquired in the Winker trade. Nick Senzel is there. So we shall see. It's a good ballpark still to hit in, so could have some deep sleeper appeal with one Nick Senzel or Aristides Aquino. Chris Bassett is up, and he's up to $8 now with the New York Mets.
Which is not a bad place to end up. It's it's not an amazing pitcher's park, but it's certainly not a gigantic downgrade from Oakland.
Okay. And Chris Bassett goes for $10. And we mentioned when the trade happened, in his career, Chris Bassett has had much better numbers at home in Oko versus compared to the road. But again, it's not like a major downgrade in terms of Park. City Field is still a good place to pitch. So solid landing spot there for Chris Bassett. And now Edwin Diaz is out there. Who's the most recent closer that went? Kenley Jansen. Kenley Jansen went for $10. And Edwin Diaz has surpassed that, which makes sense. I think he's uniformly ranked ahead of Kenley Jansen.
I have him pretty much back to back.
Oh,
Diaz is upsize higher.
Yeah. And Diaz goes for $12. Which again, like the closers at this point are going for much better values.
Good values, yeah.
Me, Diaz is in a similar tier as Class A, and Class A went for, I think it was like $16 earlier. So I put him in the queue instead of nominating him. All right, I nominated Freddy Peralta. Get some more pitchers out there.
I'm hoping he pushes 20, because if he doesn't, I'm going to feel bad about that Darvish bid.
Oh, jump bid to 13, 14, 15. 15 to RJ White. Now up to 16, 17. All right, Scott. You're feeling it right.
We're good.
You're feeling good.
Exhale.
And I jump in at 19.
So you knew all along, Frank.
Oh, yeah.
You were in on this.
Is he your top remaining pitcher?
Oh, jeez.
Consensus-wise, he is. For
Yeah.
sure.
He's not for me.
Who is for you, Chris?
I have Joe Musgrove just ever so slightly. I have
Really?
him mostly because of workload.
I've never heard you say anything positive about Joe Musgrove ever.
That's fair.
I wound up with Freddy Peralta for $21 here. More than I wanted to spend on him. He's my SP2. I've got him and Lucas Giolito. But I
you
like
spent
Peralta.
47 on Giolito and Peralta?
Yes. And what you spent, what,
54 on Gausman and Scherzer.
Okay. Yeah, again, like I said, you spent, I think, exactly 21 on
Gausman. Yeah.
on Gausman as well, right? Yeah, so we paid the same price for Peralta, and I have Peralta ranked the highest of all of us. I think he's like 15th or 16th. So you worry about the innings, but man, the stuff is filthy.
Yeah.
Fastball Freddy, no more.
Oh, gosh.
Reese Hoskins is up.
4-pitch Freddy, even.
4-pitch Freddy.
Isn't that what he is now?
I know he's got the slider and the curve.
Doesn't he throw a changeup occasionally?
Might be. It might be like a sub 5% pitch for him. Let's see.
So I'm willing to go $9 on a first baseman, and I could have got Reese Hoskins for $9 just then. I'm not sure that was the first baseman I wanted to go $9 on.
Okay.
There are still better ones.
Freddy Peralta.
10% of the time threw a changeup last year.
That's pretty good. 4-pitch Freddy. I like the
4-pitch Freddy.
Adam Wainwright's up. No surprise. Scott's got the top bid, $7. And going once, going twice.
Yeah.
Oh, Scotty gets him. $7.
Happy with that. Happy with that.
All right, let's check in on the team, Scott. We haven't looked in a little while. You got two catchers. You got Perez and Varsho. You got Jonathan India for 9, Devers for 35, Baez for 15, Teoscar Hernandez for 25, Reynolds for 16, Tatis for 17. Now Eloy Jimenez is thrown out there. And then you've got 4 pitchers. You got Adam Wainwright, Zach Wheeler, Yu Darvish, and Pablo Lopez.
Yeah, I haven't had a freak out yet. That's pretty good for me. It's
Not yet.
Under delivering to our audience, but
We've got to keep going then. I mean, we've got to keep going until we get at least one Scott meltdown.
I came close at the very start when we got through all the first round hitters and I hadn't purchased one yet.
So Scott has like one fringe-ish first rounder, but you're definitely going more for a balanced approach rather than any kind of stars and scrubs.
Yeah, I mean, there are going to be some scrubs on my team still. Because I got a lot of like
I didn't mean to imply that
of,
there wouldn't be scrubs.
I got a lot of like round 3 through 7 players and could get more of those still. But But yeah, it's not necessarily the way I wanted to do it, but that's where you have to read the room and adjust mid-flight. It's like we talked about. When was that? We talked about Tuesday.
Chris,
I just screwed up big
You
time.
won David Fletcher for $1.
I just screwed up big time.
Oh,
That's
why?
a disaster.
Why did you do that?
I just used my DH spot on David Fletcher. That is a disaster. Oh my God.
Do you think somebody was going to bid you up?
Oh, jeez.
Was that the thinking? Or did you just what happened?
I just didn't think that about the fact that I had already filled up my middle infield spot.
Oh.
Oh, jeez.
Man, that is
Yeah.
Oh, no, you can't do that. Never mind.
All right, who had Chris freaking out before Scott?
I was going to say you can move Tommy Edman to the outfield, but you can't because you filled your outfield
I can't.
too.
No, this is. Oh wait, no, I can't. No.
Oh man! All right, so here's what's happening.
I'm screwed.
I mentioned pitchers weren't thrown out for a long time, and it feels like now everyone was waiting for these pitchers collectively, and now they're going for maybe even too much money. So Dylan Cease goes for 19. I spent 21 on Freddy Peralta. It's more than I wanted to spend on him. So we're all kind of doing the same thing. We're waiting for pitchers to get thrown out there, and they're going for a lot. So Dylan Cease for 19. I don't think I mentioned it, but Eloy Jimenez went for 15. It's a great price. It's just right now I can't afford to jump in on a $15 outfielder. I need more pitching. So I could not bid on my man, Eloy Jimenez, unfortunately. Did get him on Tout Wars, though. Happy about that. DJ LeMahieu. We haven't talked about DJ LeMahieu recently, and the Yankees kind of have a logjam going on because they've got Glaber at second. They have Isaiah Kiner-Falefa at short. They've got Josh Donaldson at third. They have Anthony Rizzo now at first base. Stanton will probably move between left field and DH. I mean, is DJ LeMahieu just going to be like a utility guy to start the season if they don't trade somebody? It seems weird.
Yeah, it seems like he'd have to be, right? Unless they're planning to DH Donaldson some and play Stanton in the outfield, which would force one of Judge or Gallo into center field. I mean, who's their projected center fielder right now? Aaron Hicks?
It's Aaron
terrible.
Hicks.
That's terrible.
Judge and Gallo are capable of playing center field. I just don't know how often they actually want to do that. So,
yeah.
And I don't think Aaron Hicks is so bad. Come on, Scott. You were a little mean about it,
Well, it's you can't rely, like that can't be your primary answer at center field at this point because given how much he's struggled to stay healthy.
Yeah, I don't think they want to play him every day either. So it's a fair point. But
yeah, I'm a little worried about DJ LeMahieu's going to play a ton, but if he doesn't play every single day, given that he's already, you're really relying on counting stats with him because there's not much power probably, and there's not much speed. It could be a problem for his fantasy value. So I have almost zero interest in DJ LeMahieu at this point.
All right. LeMahieu went for $3. Joey Votto was the next buy at $10. And now Jose Barrios is out there at 19, which makes sense.
That $13 bid on Yu Darvish is turning out okay.
Yep.
However, I will say Joey Votto going for 10 makes me a little more nervous about passing up Rhys Hoskins for 9 because I wasn't willing to go 11 on Votto. So first base, it's getting a little scary for me. It started when I didn't win Freddy Freeman and has continued throughout the salary draft.
All right, CJ Abrams, one of the top prospects in the Padres organization, goes for $2, and he's already got 2 home runs in spring training. I know that there's a Tatis injury. I don't think that they're going to look. The Padres have been an aggressive organization with their prospects. I don't think that they're going to rush him just because of the Tatis injury, but maybe they prove me wrong. Who knows?
Ha-Sung Kim, I'm not sure there's anything there,
Right.
So
I think it's worth, giving one more, look. It was his first year in the States last season, so I don't want to write him off. But yeah, what we saw last year was not there wasn't much promising about it. Defensively,
gonna do it.
he was good.
And Lourdes Gurriel goes to me for $6, which I'm very happy with.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Solid buy.
I wrote him
Lot
down
better
for
than David Fletcher for $1.
wrote him down for 8 to 10. So I was
I'm shame spiraling, guys.
Anthony Rizzo is the next player out there for $1. Yeah, I was about to say someone.
I think Chris was a little too gleeful at the prospect of the Scott White meltdown. So now this is karma.
Yeah, this feels karmic for sure.
I've got $35 left, and I've got a lot of pitcher spots, so I think I probably got to cool it with the hitters. And Anthony Rizzo is up. He's going for about $4. Chris, let's check in on your team. I think we're probably going to wrap up the podcast side of things. We'll keep rolling here on YouTube, but let's check in on your team here, Chris, and see what you got. No catchers, no first base, but you've got Tommy Edman for 10, Manny Machado at 32, O'Neal Cruz is your shortstop at 7, Jazz Chisholm is your middle infielder. I guess those are interchangeable for 13. Then you've got Pollock for 2, Yelich for 13, Springer for 28, Marcell Ozuna for 9, Juan Soto for 44, and then David Fletcher as your utility bat.
You know what it was? It's just I went through a period where I was adding guys to my queue for speed, and then I drafted 3 of them, and just I'm sort of absent-minded at times, guys, and it came back to bite me.
All right. And you've got Max Scherzer for 33 and Kevin Gausman for 21. So 2 pitchers thus far for $54 combined, as you mentioned. And hey, that's what you said you like to do. You want to get 2 aces and then, fill in the rest of your spots for about $30. And it seems like that's probably what you're going to have to do here, Chris.
It's easy to be absent-minded when you're podcasting while it's happening. I think that's
100%.
forgivable. I remember
just got too cute. Just
one of the first times we broadcasted a mock draft like this, a very long time ago, like over 10 years ago. I'd like filled my shortstop spot with Hanley Ramirez or Troy Tulowitzki's, somebody really early on, and then I kind of reached for Steven Drew later on, and I was so mad. And the fact that I remember that all these years later tells you just how mad I was.
yeah.
Let's hit one more salary cap draft story before we wrap up here. I'll never forget, Scott, when I was just listening to the podcast, the you versus Nando DeFino for Jed Jerko, and you were trying to price him up because you knew he loved Jed Jerko, and then I think you wound up with him for like $18 or $20 or something like that. It was, oh man, it was fun to listen to at the time, man.
Yeah, that was definitely memorable. And the thing about it is, it wasn't just I knew Nando loved Jed Jerko. I knew Nando, and I knew when he loved somebody, he would stop at nothing to get him. And I was kind of like flaunting it in his face and everything, and he totally. and what also made it so bad is I went with this really aggressive strategy early on and spent like a combined $120 on Mike Trout and Miguel Cabrera, the top 2 players at the time. So I had to be really careful with my bidding from there on out. And I go and spend like $24 on Jed Jerko. It was a disaster.
Let's catch everybody up. After I got Gurriel for 6, Anthony Rizzo goes for 5, Blake Snell goes for 12, RJ threw Joe Adell out for 2. I had the quick bid at 3. I thought I would get him. Tim Canick sneaks in, gets Joe Adell for 4. And I wanted Adell, but again, gotta save my money for pitching, so I don't know. Maybe I'll regret it. He hit a bomb over the weekend, so good to see there from our guy Joe Adell. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna wrap up on the podcast side of things. This will be part 2. But if you are listening and you want to find out the results, the rest of what we've got going on with the salary cap draft, you can check us out on YouTube. We're gonna keep it rolling there. Scott, will the results be on the website as well?
Yeah, they should be by Tuesday morning.
All right. So we've covered a lot of players thus far. But if you want to see the rest of the results, you can find them on the site or again on YouTube. We're going to wrap up the podcast feed there. Hour 2 is in the books, and we'll be back again tomorrow. Bye-bye. And we are still here on YouTube. And boom, Luke Voigt is out there. Scott, I thought you were trying to see. Scott was trying to sneak him away while I was signing off the podcast side of things. Sneaky scout.
I was doing no such thing. All right, I'll go 8.
All right. Scott's up to $8 on Luke Voigt. And Rhys Hoskins went for 9. Votto went for 10. And I think this makes sense. I moved Luke Voigt right behind that profit pocket group, which again includes Hoskins and Votto and CJ Cron and Josh Bell. And if those guys are going for 9 and 10, I think $8 makes sense for Luke Voigt.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. And Joe Ryan, in the meantime, went for $4 as well. And Chris is up. He's got a nominated player, but he disappeared from our feed here. And he throws.
I'm just going to go take a quick break. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem. He threw Carlos Carrasco out for $1. I'm not letting that happen. And neither is RJ, because Carrasco's up to $3. For those who are still here watching us live, man, we've got 193 people in here. We appreciate you. Make sure to like the video if you haven't already. Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, tap the notification bell. You get notified every time we go live, which typically Sunday through Thursday evenings for the full-length podcast. We do usually one mock draft per week leading up to the season. This, again, is a real draft that we're playing out. 12-team, 5x5 salary cap draft. And Carlos Carrasco went for $5 to Chris.
Yeah, I think that might not have happened if Carrasco had, been nominated outside pick 100, 225, whatever. Because I think $5 is basically face value for Carlos Carrasco, and I'm somebody who says that being high on him.
Yeah.
So
you have him at 4. Chris has him at 11. I know he's really aggressive on Carrasco.
Yeah, I think we're at the point where you're not going to really be able to sneak low-end players through unless they're like really low-end players who might not be drafted at all. There's just not enough great ones out there for people to still hold out hope for,
All right. Randy Rosarena is at 13 and sold, which I think is a pretty good buy. Let's see. Even Scott and Chris, who have a Rosarena as a bust this year, have them at 14 and 15 respectively, and he goes for 13. So yeah, as we've said all along, Scott, I mean, this, right around pick 100 group, that has been the undervalued group so far today.
Yeah, it has.
No different for Randy Rosarena.
Let's try this out. Joe Barlow.
Joey B. What will he go for? $1.
Of course, somebody will bid him up to 2.
Tim
Will that
McLeod's
be where it stops? If so, I'm going to regret putting him out there. Yep, only 2. I would have liked to get him for 2 later, but that's okay.
Okay, are there any other closers left? I haven't really been paying attention.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
I've only got Rice Iglesias, so I'm going to need somebody.
I think he go and I missed it. Okay. Yeah, Josh Hader win. I don't remember what he went for. Yeah, there are a few others out there.
All right. Alek Manoah thrown out there. Still need some pitchers. Alek Manoah. He's up to 8, 9, 10. How high will it go? Up to 13. All right. So same price you've spent on Darvish, right, Scott?
Yeah. And that's probably, like, just looking at ADP, that's probably about right. I would rather have Darvish. I think, at least for this season, while Manoah is still kind of in the development stage and not quite ready to take on a big workload, Darvish clearly has more upside. But he might be riskier too. He might have more of a floor than Manoah does.
All right. I've got Luis Torrens was thrown out, catcher for the Seattle Mariners for $1, and he goes for $1. I've got to just do a little check in on my team and see what do I need. Probably need a little speed somewhere.
Oh, Jeremy Pena. That's an interesting nominee. Now
Yeah.
looks like even Dusty Baker is saying he has the inside track to the starting job with Carlos Correa gone. And, Dusty Baker has never been so adamant about playing the young guys. But Pena, showed some pop when he returned from a wrist injury in the minors last year. Hadn't really shown it before then. Small sample. We don't know how legit it is. Also showed some speed last year, though. So I think a $2 player, given that he looks like he's in line for a lot of at-bats, I think that makes sense.
All right. Austin Meadows, the next player thrown out there. Looks like he's going to stay with Tampa Bay. I mean, there were some trade rumblings throughout the lockout that, some teams had checked in on him. Before that, $3. All right. He goes up to $4 to RJ. Yeah. Scott, I don't know what to make of Austin Meadows, man. I was in last year. I like the makeup and what I saw back in 2019, his last full season that he played, but it's just tried to hit everything in the air last year. So many fly balls. It killed his batting average. He didn't really run anymore.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to feel too bad about getting him for $4. A guy who had 27
sure.
homers and 106 RBI last year.
Yeah.
But
doesn't
I hear what you're saying. I
doesn't
didn't
hit lefties well, and Tampa Bay, are they going to platoon him?
I feel like it could get worse. I feel like his fantasy value, like if his production is what it was for the majority of last season, it could get worse because his playing time could suffer.
All right, Carlos Rodon is up to 17 again, Scott. Like these pitchers, mid-tier pitchers that everyone's waiting on, they're going for more than they should. I
don't know them more than they should. Well, hang on, let me see. Rodon had him for 15. So yeah, a little more than he should. You're right.
All right, I've got a nominated player here. Didn't reset there. Yeah, I think we got to redo Rodon, Scott. So I'm not going to throw another player out there.
Okay. All right.
So we're going to throw Rodon back out.
So he's going to go for even more than 18.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
Yeah. Everyone needs pitching, man.
I guess so. Yeah. Hey, Chris got Kevin Gausman for $21.
Yeah. I'm not huge on Walker Bueller, but that's the one that I look back on and I wanted to bid. He wasn't really part of the plan, but just sometimes, Scott, sometimes the price and force is worth it. If it feels right at the time, then it's probably going to make sense at some point.
I look, we just told the story of Nando and Jed Jerko and what happened to me there, and that like I never purely price and force anymore. I wasn't so fond of it before then, but I thought, I know Nando, I know that how this is going to go, and even still, it came back to bite me in the worst possible way. I mean, there's no worse feeling than blowing up your whole auction over a stunt like that. So I look, I see a guy going for way too little and it's not really in my plan. Well, yeah, I'll bid on him, but that's not so much price enforcement as just, I might get myself a huge bargain here,
Right. All right. Joe Musgrove is out there for $15. See if anyone jumps in.
That's pretty good, Frank.
And I think I got him.
Yeah.
I got him. Joey Musgrove.
See if somebody was locked out. No, it's good. Goodbye.
All right. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Certainly relative to the pitchers, what pitchers are going for right now.
Yeah, I've got 3 starting pitchers. I've got Gelito, Musgrove, and Peralta. So I don't technically have an ace, but I've got 3 that I rank between 12 and 25. So I feel okay about that. And now Keibert Ruiz. Nationals catcher prospect goes for $5. It's a solid buy. He was in the plans. I had him written down for 9. Goes for 5. So a solid buy there.
You think the 2 of us can filibuster for a while so I can give these guys a break?
Oh, yeah.
Just hit pause for a little bit on the draft proceedings.
Yeah. Let's do it.
After this Robbie Grossman bid, we'll do that.
Okay. Robbie Grossman up for $4. And that's where it goes. How we doing, Chris?
I missed Musgrove. I'm disappointed. I might have gone 16 on him, but That's fine.
Okay, we're gonna pause the draft, and this is, this is fair. This happens all the time in salary cap auction drafts. We've been drafting nonstop for like 2.5 hours, so usually you get multiple breaks in between, and so we're gonna pause here, and we'll take a look at some teams here. What do I got? I haven't looked here for a while. I've got Grandal and Mitch Garver as my catchers. I've got Pete Alonso, Cattel Marte, Josh Donaldson, Trevor Story, my infield. In the outfield, I've got Gurriel, Luis Robert, Cody Bellinger, Nelson Cruz at util. And then I've got Gelito, Musgrove, Peralta, and Raisel Iglesias. I feel okay. I think I need some speed, so I've got to figure that out. But I like it. Man, like Trevor Story going for $23 compared to Lindor for $15. I just can't get over that. That one hurts. I wrote them down for like a similar price. So
we've all got our mistakes, Frank.
Yes.
Chris is just out after the Fletcher thing. He's just tuned out now. He's done.
It just it really does dramatically shift my approach from here on out, because I probably would have spent $10 on my DH, and now I've got 2 catcher spots, first base and corner infield, and I'm probably just gonna go dollars on catchers. So I'm gonna have to spend a little more on pitcher than I expected to, I think.
Alrighty.
And I'm eating some gummy worms. I know this is not the most professional thing that's ever happened on a YouTube stream, but I, need to reward myself after my my terrible decision making.
We've hopped out. We've hopped out of the podcast feed, so it's a little bit more lax now. We can chill out.
Yeah,
if anyone's got questions, if you've got questions, throw them in the chat. We'll take some questions right now.
Yeah.
Got anything going on? Oh, we're taking a little 5-minute break here from the salary cap draft. How much speed do I have? I don't know. Cattel Marte is going to give you how many steals, Chris? 8 to 10? Cattel Marte?
Yeah, I think you're hoping for 8 to 10. I don't think it's a guarantee, but I think that's a reasonable expectation.
Story will give you 20.
Yeah.
Bellinger should give 12 to 15, right?
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable expectation.
And Luis Robert will give 15 to 20. You all right with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so
on a different team, many more, but the White Sox, even with Tony La Russa, don't seem to run all that much.
Yeah, I think right now I'm probably around 60 steals. So
yeah,
I've got to make some additions here. Got to get those steals up. So that's something that I will focus on. Votto go yet? If so, how much? Votto went for $10.
For 10, yeah.
And Reese Hoskins went for 9. Scott won. Luke Voigt for 8.
That seems reasonable. We still got CJ Crone and Josh Bell from the profit pocket. And we've still got Ryan Mountcastle, who none of us really like all that much, but is still out there. Yuli Gurriel, Alex Kirilloff. So there's still some first basemen out there who are useful.
Hey, Frank, Chris slipped out for a minute. I slipped out for a minute. Do you want to slip out for a minute? Chris and I can answer some questions or whatever.
Honestly, I'm good to go, man.
All right.
I've got some water here next to me. We'll answer a few questions, Scott, before you jump back in. Matt Gibson asked, Tanner Houck or Tarek Skubal? Tarek Skubal looked pretty good against the Yankees the other day. Tanner Houck has a better chance of being in the rotation now for the Red Sox.
I think there's a limited chance that Tanner Houck becomes a really, really good pitcher. I think his floor is relatively high for someone who has innings concerns. I think he'll be good, but it's hard to see him ever becoming 180 inning guy who's really valuable, just because he's a right-handed pitcher who effectively throws 2 pitches. And that's a really, really hard profile to make work over the course of a full season. It's not out of the question that he could develop more, but he's also not super young. So I think he's a safer pick, but Tarek Skubal has more breakout potential.
All right. Scott, who would you rather have? Tanner Houck or Tarek Skubal?
I'd rather have Houck. Because I think at least at the start of the year he's going to be useful. And Skubal, I mean...
There's a chance he's not useful at all.
I think most likely he won't be useful at all. There's a chance he breaks through. There's certainly upside there. But I wouldn't... like, if I had to start one in week 1, it would definitely be Houck.
Yeah.
All right. This was from Cola Bear. Chris, what do you think about Keston Hiura? Does he have any value? He hit a home run the other day. Apparently he's been working on the swing in the offseason.
So he's made a pointed effort to get rid of or reduce the leg kick in his swing, which, I think he had a very exaggerated leg kick. And I think when you look at the contact issues that he's had over the past couple of seasons, you can really point to that potentially as an example or as an explanation for why his timing would be so off and why he's often so bad at making contact. Now, it's fair to wonder whether that also might limit his ability to drive the ball if he's not generating the torque that he does with the leg kick. So it's a trade-off, but with a last round pick and in this kind of format, he's on my radar for the reserve round drafts, for the reserve round picks.
Okay. It's Alex asks, what categories do you use for hitters in this league? It's the standard 5x5. So batting average, runs scored, RBI, home runs, and steals. And then on the pitcher side, ERA, whip, wins, saves, and strikeouts. All right. How we doing, Scott?
I think we're about to start up again.
All righty. Let's see if we got any other questions up here. Oh, hot take. Tyler O'Neill won't be the most valuable O'Neill this season. Guess he's talking about O'Neill Cruz.
O'Neill Cruz would be the other one, I guess. And I think there's a non-zero chance that that's the case. I think O'Neill Cruz, I've made the comp before, but I think he reminds me a lot of Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge, if you look at his minor league numbers are kind of blah for a guy who, has always had the raw power that he has. And it's not like strikeouts were like this unbelievable issue for Aaron Judge. He just didn't hit the ball as consistently as you would think with the authority that he would. But, he figured it out. The raw power was always there. And, I think that's the kind of path that we could see. I'm not going to say he has MVP upside, or at least realistic MVP upside, but I do think the best case scenario for an O'Neill Cruz is 35 plus homers and, really solid production all the way around.
Ooh, 35 homers. Man, you're right. Though.
That might be underselling it.
The power has looked so easy, dude. The home runs that he's hitting, these are pitches that are way below the zone that he's just flicking the bat out and just getting the bat head out there. And it's just these balls are traveling 400 plus feet. It's crazy. It's crazy what O'Neill Cruz is doing.
The exit velocities on him are insane.
Yeah. Matt Manning, by the way, I was watching that start earlier on Monday. His velocity was up. He averaged 94.9 miles per hour with the fastball. Last year, that was, I think, 93.5. So he was up almost 1.5 miles per hour on the fastball for Matt Manning. Not that, that will make him good all of a sudden, but prospect pedigree and, obviously still could improve. So a name to watch, deeper leagues. Matt Chapman. Oh, geez. I just realized who this was. All right. Nope. Okay. I tried
too late. Yeah.
It's all
good. I don't have him for that much.
Player.
I don't have him. I have him only as a $4 player, but I kind of feel like I need to move him up because.
Yeah, I recently moved him up to about 160 overall, and I feel pretty good about that with Matt Chapman. Just the biggest question is the health of his hip, because that really did seem to affect him in serious ways last season. So, if he can prove he's past that, I think we've seen that the upside for Matt Chapman is really high. And it's an upgrade in ballpark, a huge upgrade in lineup in Toronto. So he is someone that I'm now excited to draft.
And that hip injury that he had, that surgery that he had coming out of 2020 was the same surgery Buster Posey had going into 2019. And remember, most of us thought Buster Posey was done based on that 2019 performance. And then he bounced back with the huge 2021. So it's my point being, it's the kind of procedure that seems like it might take more than a year of recovery to get back all the way. And I think there's a lot of reason for optimism for Matt Chapman. I don't want to overdo it. And, you know, it would have been a problem if he went for $12 here, but going for $5, I think is just about right.
I should have gone 9 on Sandoval.
Yeah, Patrick Sandoval went for 8. Wilson Contreras just went for 8 as well. I spent 7 on Mitch Garver. I like Garver, but I would rather have Contreras for 8 for sure. So they signed Yan Gomes in the offseason. I think when Wilson Contreras isn't catching, I think they'll get creative. They'll use him at DH, could see some time at first base. Not worried about the playing time one bit for him. Luis Castillo is out there. Whoever needs a starting pitcher, come on, Chris. This is your guy. That's 11.
I'm really torn on Luis Castillo. I moved him down a tier recently. I moved him from like the Yu Darvish, Justin Verlander tier into like the Alek Manoah, Pablo Lopez tier because I think WHIP's going to be a problem. We've been saying that all along. I think it's pretty clear wins are going to be a problem on that Reds team.
Yeah.
You could get traded and fix that, but hasn't happened yet.
Mm-hmm.
Strikeouts should be solid. ERA should be solid. But I don't
I mean, part of it for me is just there are drop-offs coming at starting pitcher that I want to try to avoid. Because I don't think we're going to see the next tier starting pitcher just not be expensive at all. You know, starting pitcher prices have held pretty steady throughout this draft. And so, you know, I do think he's a step up from most of the pitchers remaining. So, yeah, that's mostly where I'm at.
And that price is fair, $12. I think Blake Snell also went for 12. Darvish went for 13. So it's, you know, these pitchers who can bounce back, who have struggles with whip, but lots of strikeout potential. You know, they're all kind of going in a similar range here. Julio Rodriguez goes for $4 and causes a grunt.
I really wanted him for 3. I really did.
Did he just go for like 3 less than Riley Green?
Yeah, he did.
Riley Green could be up to start the year.
I think the consensus feeling is Riley Green is at worst a coins flip chance to make the opening day roster. I don't think many people are giving Julio Rodriguez a chance to make the opening day roster, but I'm here to tell you right now, I kind of think Julio Rodriguez is going to make the opening day roster. Just the way the Mariners are talking him up. They're talking like he's their best option in center field, and they don't really like Jared Kelenic in center field.
I mean, if it's not Jared Kelenic and it's not Julio Rodriguez, it's who? Like who's going to play?
It's going to be Kelenic. If I guess Taylor Trammell's an option, or Trammell.
That's kind of what I mean. Is like there's not.
Yeah. Well, and just the way they're talking him up in general too. Like Jerry DiPoto is saying things basically like, I think he's ready for the challenge of the biggest stage. You know that. I mean, I don't know if they're not at least seriously thinking about it. I don't know why they're not saying things like that. I don't know why they're not like, well, he needs to work on his defense. Well, he hasn't played any games at AAA yet, which is true, at least the AAA thing. But they're not saying that about him. And, you know, Jesse Winker could easily slot at DH and suddenly there's room for Rodriguez in the outfield.
All right. Trevor Rogers went for $15. Same price as I paid for Joe Musgrove.
I mean, both of those are fine.
I think I have Musgrove higher than Rogers, but sounds about right. You know, maybe it's a little bit more than you'd like to see. It's higher than Darvish. It's higher than Manoah went for. Higher than Castillo. So
I do feel a little better about Castillo in that context. I have Castillo between Musgrove and Rogers. Rogers, I think, is the best pitcher of the three, though. It's mostly just a workload concern.
Camilo Doval goes for $6. So another closer candidate. And I just threw out Frankie Montas. So this one could get out of hand as well. We'll see.
I think clearly the best starting pitcher left. So it's just
Yeah.
a question of how much people are willing to spend on somebody at this point.
Mm-hmm. And he's all the way up to 16.
Yep. Not really a discount.
I've got him one spot ahead of Trevor Rogers in my overall ranking, so I would rather have Rogers at 15 than Montas at 17.
I have Montas priced at $17 in the rankings, so that makes sense. Actually, I have Trevor Rogers at 15, so whatever I was just saying about him being overvalued, don't listen. All right, yeah, Montas goes $17 to RJ White. Man, I've got to figure out some speed. I've got to figure out some pitching.
There is
You
one
want
more.
David Fletcher?
Yeah, send trades.
Work out a trade afterwards. A real league.
Yeah, that's true.
It doesn't really help me in
And
my primary concern.
Dansby Swanson out there for 4. Make it 5 to RJ.
I don't hate that price. I couldn't get it in soon enough.
Dansby
Oh, well.
Swanson goes for $5.
That was not me getting locked out. It was just me being late. So, yeah, that's a good price for Swanson, and I still needed a middle infielder.
Mm-hmm. Jared Kelenic is out there now for $6. I mean, this is the point where I think a lot of these players are probably going to go for less than they should. Although I guess $7 for Kelenic. Yeah, that's cheaper than where I have him. I have him for 11. But like that's the same price as Riley Green earlier in the draft. So is Kelenic a discount or did Riley Green maybe go for too much?
Riley Green went for too much.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we were saying that at the time. So,
Yep. All right. Jake Cronenworth has first, second shortstop eligibility on CBS. Bounce him around wherever you need him.
I do think I got locked out here.
Yes, I did as well.
Okay. So we're going to have to redo.
All right. Don't nominate anybody, Chris. Don't make this harder. All right. Here we
I
go.
will never nominate anyone.
Right. Jake Cronenworth for 3.
Fascinating player, this Jake Cronenworth. I feel like he should be able to hit for a higher average than he did last year. Should be able to steal more bases than he did last year. Don't think playing time is going to be an issue.
Yeah.
It's nice that I'm talking him up while I'm bidding on him.
And he's up to 8. And Jake Cronenworth goes for, I believe, 8. Yes, $8.
That's fine.
Roster Resource has Jake Cronenworth batting 3rd for the Padres, which I think he did for a large majority of last season as well. So lots of RBI opportunities there. Solid batting average. And Alejandro Kirk. To Chris, will you get him for $1? What do you think?
Maybe. At the last second.
Come on.
And Chris goes back in with the $30 bid.
Which, like, I didn't even want to do. It's just the principle of the thing.
That's awesome. You know, They should just
Unbelievable.
make him their DH. Get it over with. Come on.
Yeah.
He's not. If you don't think he's going to be your regular catcher, and with Gabriel Marino coming up, I think it's unlikely Kirk will ever get to that point. Just make him your DH. His bat is awesome.
They've got to figure something out there because they've got him and Danny Jansen and
Just send Grichuk to the bench. Grichuk
Moreno's
goes to the
coming.
bench, and then you make Kirk your DH.
Yeah,
Kirk should go.
Kirk last year hit 242, but his XBA was 288. He slugged 436. His X slug was 515. So, man, give him a chance. Give Alejandro Kirk a chance. And Justin Turner goes for $7. I spent $8 on Josh Donaldson. So I have them ranked similarly, but I do have Justin Turner ranked higher. So not great.
Yeah. The Blue Jays have a type at catcher, it seems. They really like these high contact, plate discipline guys who, I mean, Danny Jansen, Alejandro Kirk, they both put up really good numbers in the high minors. It'll be interesting to see if Kirk can work out a little better than Jansen has so far.
All right. Scotty.
Oh,
Scott, did you throw Bader out there with the hope of getting him for $1?
you know what I did? I threw Harrison Bader out there thinking he was Dylan Carlson.
Oh,
I didn't want to fill an outfield spot that way.
Ugh.
I was sure people
But
would
you
bid
get
up
bailed
Carlson.
out.
I got bailed out.
You get bailed out from your mistake.
Yes. Sorry, Chris.
Unacceptable.
Clayton Kershaw thrown out there. Who needs pitching? I need pitching. I don't think I
Everybody
can
needs
afford this
pitching.
show. I mean, maybe I can. I don't know. I have a $21 max bid, but I have a lot of spots available. I don't know.
Yeah, there's still enough pitching left that I'm not so focused on this.
Clayton Kershaw goes for 8. Harrison Bader went for 2 before that. Okay. See who Greg throws out there. Le Champion. I know it's not Greg.
I
is it?
mean, Kershaw got through his first spring start okay. I've been debating moving him up.
He said he's healthy.
Yeah, well. They were talking about Tommy John surgery, and he didn't have it. And I just don't think you can put that off for long. But like Clayton Kershaw is like if you can count on any pitcher to succeed at less than 100%, it's him. So I don't know. I'm torn.
Yeah, that Clayton Kershaw, he'll do it to you. Jamer Candelario goes for $1. Raimel Tapia went for $1. And Tim McLeod is up.
Tim
Not
McLeod has
based.
too much money left.
Yeah,
I don't like when there's somebody who has like twice as much money as anybody else. And it's just like,
They get
He's
all
got
the players.
He's got $64.
I
I
know
got
what they're doing. which
29.
I'm sure he does.
Mm-hmm. All right, Josh Bell. Who wants the profit? Who wants it? I think Tim does. He's got all that money anyway, so.
Yeah.
Not so fast. Scotty chiming in.
It's just a matter of what he wants to do with that money.
Oh, Scotty boy. Up to 10.
Yeah.
And sold.
That's fine.
All right.
I needed a corner infielder. I feel like Josh Bell was arguably the best hitter left overall. So,
Okay.
Yep, I'll take it.
All right. So you've got yourself some Josh Bell, some Luke Voigt.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad, not bad. And the last of the profit. Oof, CJ Cron. All right. All the way up to 8, 9, which makes sense. Josh Bell just went for 10. And
Go for 10 as well. Come on.
9. All right. So, yeah, Crone went for 9. Bell went for 10. Votto went for 10. Hoskins went for 9. Makes sense to me. All right, let's get this guy out of the way. JD Martinez, who
He's been
believe
sitting there at
Oh.
the top of the queue for
far and away the
Ever.
best player available.
I take back what I said about Josh Bell being the best hitter left then. Sorry, I overlooked JD Martinez there.
I
the
was like,
good
yeah,
news is I cannot bid on him.
Yeah,
And
I
he
think we're
just went
locked
for
out.
$2.
I think we're locked
Okay, yeah,
out.
we must be locked out.
Yeah, because I tried to bid too.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna redo it. We'll redo it. JD
Eventually.
Martinez. All right. Do we have any night baseball games going on today? Let's see. I don't think so. But yeah, we do.
Pause it.
Got Brewers and Giants. Adrian Hauser going up against Alex Wood. Is it on TV? Watch it.
Been a bit annoyed that there haven't been any Marlins games on MLB TV when I've tried to watch so far. Would have liked to have watched Max Meyer today. Apparently he pitched really well.
It is on TV. If anyone is here watching us live, if you have
It is.
MLB TV, or actually, you don't even need MLB TV right now. It's free. So,
Did we get locked
says
out again?
Brewers and Giants are on the television.
Boy, oh boy.
TV.
I tried to put in a $10 bid.
Yeah, we are locked out again.
So we'll do it again.
Do it live.
That we will. We'll do it live. JD Martinez, man. There's just a few players. Make it
Come
tough.
on. Holy moly. This is what's gonna make me start tilting here. Technology.
I knew the over-under was at 3 hours.
Let me reload my draft room here. And then we'll reset JD Martinez.
Let's do the same.
And we are keeping you.
Yeah, I just reset my draft room and it's spinning, so it's
All right.
not a great sign.
All right, so we will filibuster. How do you guys feel about JD Martinez this year?
I like him. I think he represents a solid value where he's going. ADP around 100, I believe. Look that up for sure, but
I'm a little skeptical.
83 is
Potentially
80.
a lot skeptical. Just because it felt like last year we talked about the fact that he was really, really awesome for a month and then was kind of mediocre. You know, he's basically like an 800 OPS bat from May 1st on. It felt like we talked about that a decent amount last season, and then it hasn't really been as much of a topic of conversation so far.
Yeah.
And
That's
I think it probably should be, given his age and given the track record that we've seen. You know, it's fair to wonder if, you know, JD Martinez isn't necessarily a difference maker anymore. And he has to be, you know, as a hitter, because he's not going to steal any bases. You know, he really does as an outfield only, even, you know, having added outfield eligibility. Like, he needs to be a really, really good hitter to justify that price. And I think there are questions about whether he can be that anymore.
He was still a pretty legit 4-category contributor. I mean, you know, doesn't excel in home runs anymore, but to hit 286, 28 homers, 99 RBI, 92 runs, it's a pretty valuable player.
It so much of it was in April, ironically, when nobody else was hitting. It's weird how many players that happened with, right? Like, offense is way down in April. There's a few players who are just crushing it, and then when everybody else comes back, they fall apart. It happened with JD Martinez. Yermin Mercedes is an obvious example. There are others, but those are the two that come to mind.
Yeah, the StatCast numbers were still very good for him, though.
Yep,
288 XBA, 534 X slug, average exit velocity is there.
And I think when you broke it down month by month, it remained high throughout the season, not just like that wasn't front loaded. That wasn't so much because of what Martinez did in April.
Right. So let me do that again. All pitches, season by month, all seasons, 2021. So the exit velocity was around 92.5 in April. It was 92.2 in May, 92.3 in June, Big step down in July, 90.7, which is still above league average. 91.5 in August, 93.3 in September. So
It's a good sign.
Did have a lull in July, but yeah. Exit velo was still there for JD. And we're stuck.
Yeah, we're stuck.
I wonder if this is.
I'm just kind of going through some of the spring training box scores and trying to identify any interesting tidbits. Max Scherzer threw 72 pitches in his spring debut, so going to go ahead and say he's not going to have his innings limited early in the season. Velocity was pretty much 0.7 miles per hour down. That's nothing at this point in the spring. So that's a good sign. Eliezer Hernandez started for the Marlins. He's someone to have on your radar for the later rounds, especially in like a 15-team league. I don't know how much he needs to be on your radar in a 12-team league, but something interesting with him, he's always had this awesome slider, but his fastball velocity was up about a mile per hour today, and he threw 5 changeups and got 2 whiffs on it. That'll be interesting because he did start throwing a changeup a little more last season. He's always been a 2-pitch pitcher. And he's had interesting stretches, just as mostly a 2-pitch pitcher, mostly a pretty mediocre fastball and a very, very good slider. So if you can have a decent changeup, that does make Eliezer Hernandez a little more interesting, and that's the Marlins thing. They get guys throwing these really interesting changeups. So something to keep an eye on. And then Max Meyer, Marlins top prospect now. Averaged 96.3 miles per hour with his fastball today. Threw a bunch of changeups that looked pretty good. His slider was awesome. 6 swinging strikes on 14 pitches. So he is probably not going to make the rotation for the Marlins. I would guess Eliezer Hernandez and Jesus Luzardo are the back end of that rotation. But Max Meyer with Edward Cabrera, I think he finally did report to camp, but he was delayed, and it doesn't look like he'll be ready for the start of the season. Max Meyer's probably the next guy up for the Marlins, and he's a very, very interesting prospect.
All right. In the meantime, as we wait for this draft room to load back up, we'll take some questions on YouTube. This one's from Andy. Keeper question: my 7th keeper in a head-to-head points league. Jorge Polanco for $5, Buxton for 16, Framber Valdez for 8, Ranger Suarez for 8.
I think you got to go Polanco there.
I think so too, just based on the value. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I would probably go Buxton, but that's understanding that I'm higher on Buxton than everyone else.
It is the higher upside play. I think it's easier to justify Buxton in a categories league than a points league.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a close call between those two.
This was from Cliff Shelton. Will Wander Franco walk more than strike out this year?
Unlikely.
Last year, 24 walks to 37 strikeouts.
Unlikely, but
that's crazy.
Aside from Juan Soto, there may be no player better equipped to have more walks than strikeouts than Wander Franco.
All right, we're back in here. Chris Taylor is up.
All right.
Taylor.
Still not here for me.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to hit pause there still and straighten things out.
Oh, wait, it's back for me now.
Okay.
Okay. Are we going to throw him back in there?
Yeah, we're going to redo these last two because the problem started with JD Martinez.
Right.
Also, one other spring training note that I'll throw out there is George Kirby, pitching prospect for the Mariners. Threw 29 fastballs today, averaged 96.5 miles per hour with it, with 6 swinging strikes on 29 fastballs. That's electric stuff.
That's awesome.
So he is really
that's
good.
something to watch.
Now, it's not clear what it's in that top 30 position battles pieces I wrote. It's not clear what the Mariners are going to do with their 5th rotation spot. It kind of seems like they're just waiting around for a trade to happen.
Yeah.
If not, Kirby's probably a fringe candidate. I think Matt Brash might be the most likely candidate, though. It's a breakout pitcher in the minors last year, has maybe the best slider in all the minor leagues. Ton of strikeout potential with that pitch alone. So
Chris,
the Mariners are pretty loaded.
I didn't know I didn't know, Scott, if you were waiting for me to nominate JD Martinez or.
Okay, yeah, I'm just making sure everybody got reloaded okay, and that nobody disappeared.
It's
So
your turn to nominate a player.
we're back on here with JD Martinez.
Frank,
sir.
it's your turn to nominate a player.
Oh, all right. I'll do it.
I just thought you should know.
I will do it. I will throw JD Martinez out there. Will he break the draft room again? RJ goes straight to his $9
My bid. Okay. There was a delay there, but my bid went through.
All right.
Also, we'll point out Dylan Bundy pitched on Sunday. His average fastball velocity was 87.2 miles per hour, which is 3.5 miles per hour from where it was last season, which was like 2 miles per hour down from where it was the previous season. So
I hadn't stopped to consider if I was willing to go 12 on JD Martinez. I should have been prepared for that, right? Kind of wondering if I should have gone 12.
Maybe. Okay. I think 2 more outfilders on my team. Chris Taylor goes for 4. JD Martinez went for 11.
Ooh, 4's good for Taylor. Ooh. All right. It'll be okay, Scott. Calm down. Starting. I can feel
it's
the
too
green
late
guy
to start.
coming out. You know.
It's too late to start spiraling, Scott. Too much of the draft is done.
I don't know that that's true. It's never too late to spiral, Chris.
All right, Scott, you got Sean Murphy for 3.
Oh, wait a second.
Don't you have 2 catchers?
Yeah, I didn't mean to do that. I thought that was Sean Manaea.
Oh, no, I think you're going to have to keep him, Scott.
Am I?
Yeah.
That's a really good utility bet.
Why do I have to keep him? I thought it was Sean Manaea.
100% you have to keep him. There's no question. We're not turning that back. Unless you either keep him in your DH spot or we're going all the way back and we're undoing whatever.
No, but I literally thought I was bidding on a different player than the actual player that was up.
No.
Are you serious?
You make a dumb mistake, you live with the dumb mistake. That is the precedent that we have established in this draft.
No, I think I've been very fair about backing out
This
bids,
is ridiculous.
Oh, no. People are writing in on the chat. No way, Scott.
No way.
I'll trade for him. Someone said they'll trade for him. Scott is 100% right.
No, absolutely not.
Okay. Well, this feels unfair, but
I'm staying out of it. I'm not getting involved.
Sorry, because I did the same thing. I didn't realize I had already filled. I forgot that I already filled up my middle infield.
No, that's not what I'm saying happened, Chris. I'm saying I thought this was Sean Manaea.
Right, you read the wrong
name. It's a Sean
you made a
on
mistake.
Oak.
You made a whoopsie daisy.
Wow.
All right, I'm asking the YouTube chat. Let's see what they say. Yeah, I'm with Towers on this one. I agree with Chris.
I know most people are ruthless.
Life is unfair.
You know how much people hate to be seen agreeing with me.
If to be fair, if this happened to somebody else, and it's happened before to somebody else, I would back it out. But oops, sorry. I'll sorry, I hit the wrong button. I really did hit the wrong button, but I'll do it again for 3.
All right.
Justice.
All right, what kind of blunder am I going to make now? Let's make it the trifecta.
All right, nominated for 1.
I'm taking everyone down with me.
You've got he's not quite beefy, but he is a big boy. Darren Ruff up at the plate. So watching him see what he does here he's playing against a right-handed pitcher. You like to see that for Darren Ruff. In there against Adrian Hauser. Oh, it's a nice hack. All right. Sean Murphy for 3. Now what? I've got some money. I just don't know what I want to spend it on. I don't have that much money, but I have a few ideas.
Scott doesn't want to talk to me anymore.
Ryan Mountcastle goes for $3.
That's good.
To Chris Mitchell.
Even though we don't like Ryan Mountcastle this season, you can't argue against that.
All right.
Well,
Alex Wood is being interviewed. Wish I could hear what he's saying. Looked pretty good. 2 perfect innings, 3 strikeouts.
Yeah, I wish this game doesn't have the StatCast data. I want to see what his fastball velocity looked like.
True. All right, Chris, you sneak by a Luis Patino for $1.
That's one of my favorite sleepers at starting pitcher. I'm happy about that one. Very recent top prospect. Probably needs to throw his secondary pitches beside his slider more to really take a step forward.
Okay. Sean Manaea is out there. He's out and about. He's up to 6. I'll go 7. I like a little Sean Manaea. Where's he going to be traded? That's the question, right? Is he going to go to Minnesota? Is he going to go to the Yankees?
They've been linked. Minnesota seems to still be pretty hot on both him and Frankie Montas.
I think the Royals were linked to them recently, too.
Wonder if the Greinke signing changes that, though.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone else tried to bid, but it seems like it's kind of stuck. I hope not.
Yeah.
It appears to be stuck.
And Sean Manaea. Yeah, there's no way anyone else bid on him, right? So I think we'll just throw him my way. RJ's got jokes.
It's a good one.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think maybe YouTube has run its course here if this thing is going to keep freezing.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got. I'll try to refresh. But if nothing else is going down, we'll do another quick look over our teams, and then we'll wrap up here on the YouTube side. Again, the results will be on the site. So if you want to see how this entire thing turns out, you could always find them there as well. And we've got a refresh.
And looks like it's spinning for Frank as well.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, indeed.
All right, well, I'll go through my team. How about that?
Yes, if you could
Go
see
for
your
it.
team, because I can't. Oh, there you go. Okay. Do we need to redo Manaea, or did anyone else say they were still bidding, or what?
I think people were still bidding. Yeah, we'll redo it.
All right.
Ten seconds.
Whoa. I always forget to mute that when we go back into the room. All right. And done. All right. I got my guy, Sean Manaea. Man, when it's all said and done, he might be the pitcher that I wind up with most. Got him in Tout Wars the other day, too. He's my SP4. I've got Gelito. I've got Musgrove. I've got Manaea. And I've got Freddy Peralta. Joey Gallo gets thrown out there. All right. I'll run through my team. I haven't really done much recently. I'm waiting for, there's a few specific players I'm waiting for, but I've got Grandal and Mitch Garver at catcher. I've got Pete Alonso, Cattel Marte, Josh Donaldson, Trevor Story in the infield. I need middle and corner again. Got Bellinger, Luis Robert, and Lourdes Gurriel in the outfield. I need some speed. Nelson Cruz at util. And I've got 4 starters and 1 closer. I've got Giolito, Musgrove, Manaea, Freddy Peralta, and Raisel Iglesias. No first-round player. Got a second-rounder in Luis Robert. It's okay. It's solid. It's mostly what I have written down here. I didn't get an SP1 that I wanted. I had Scherzer and Woodruff written down, but I didn't get either of those guys.
Your offense has a lot of good values. Like that's, I think Garver and Grandal, that's a good, if you're not going to go 0 at catcher and you're not going to pay up big, I think $16 for Grandal and Garver is the way to go. Story, that could end up being a really good value.
Mhm.
That we're talking about a guy who was a high 20s, low 30s kind of guy for a while. So, I don't know if he'll be that guy in Boston, but it's not impossible. So, yeah, I mean, you definitely need speed. You've really only got Robert and Story as stolen base guys, as like true double digit guys. So, that's a little bit lacking, but yeah, otherwise, I think it's pretty good.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Well, let's take a look at your team. See how it's going here. You've got Alejandro Kirk for 3, Tommy Edman at second base, then Machado. You got O'Neal Cruz, Jazz Chisholm, Matt Chapman. The outfield is AJ Pollock, Christian Yelich, George Springer, Marcell Ozuna, Juan Soto, David Fletcher at util. It's great. I love that. Max Scherzer, Carlos Carrasco, Kevin Gausman, Luis Castillo, and Luis Patino. You've got 5 starting pitchers thus far.
Yeah, and obviously there's not a ton of starting pitching left, so I wish I had jumped on another mid-range-ish pitcher. But we'll see. There's still, enough guys to fill out my rotation out there. But yeah, I do wish I had moved on one of the like Emmanuel Clase or Raisel Iglesias or Edwin Diaz types who did slip a little bit in terms of their price.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of closers, Mark Melanson just went for $5. Oh, I've got to nominate a player. I don't know technically who I want to nominate. I will throw out, I don't know, this guy. Gleyber Torres.
He was one that was in when I filled my queue with potential stolen base. I had kind of forgotten that he stole 14 bases last season. I don't know how replicable that's going to be, although he was 14 for 20. So it's not like he was this like outstanding efficiency base stealer. But that's a big outlier for his career. So that's an interesting one. I don't know what to make of that though.
I almost got him for $1. All right. So I get him for $3. And he's my middle infielder. So
and that was $15 to $20 player last year, probably.
Yeah. Look, he's hard to figure out like who is the real Gleyber Torres at this point. I don't know. He should play every single day, but like they've got this logjam with LeMahieu. So I don't know. Maybe he sits once a week, something like that. But yeah. I'm hoping he can give me, 15 to 20 homers, maybe 8 to 10 steals, something like that. But, upside for more if he can get back on track. So we'll see there with Gleyber Torres. All right, let's take a look at Scotty's team, and then we'll wrap this up. He's got Salvador Perez and Dalton Varsho as his catchers. He's got Luke Voit, Jonathan India, Rafael Devers, Javier Baez. No middle infielder yet. Got Josh Bell at corner, Teoscar Hernandez, Brian Reynolds, and Fernando Tatis in the outfield. Sean Murphy at utility. He's got Zach Wheeler, Yu Darvish, Pablo Lopez, and Adam Wainwright at starting pitcher. What do you think, Scott? Do you feel all right with this pitching staff so far, or are you trying to jump in?
It's not done yet, but okay. I think it's fine. I'm fine with those as my top 4 pitchers, given the state of my offense. Yeah, I'm going to be very cautious with my dollars from this point forward, and probably spread the 24 I have left around pretty evenly. So, I don't know if there's anybody I'm willing to go like 7 for.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
Yeah, I've got something similar. I've got $19 left, $13 max bid, but I got to be smart with how I spend these last couple of dollars. So let's do that. Let's do exactly that. Luis Severino is out for $4. Will Chris get him? And he does. Yohan Moncada went
first start. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, the velo looked good. I mean, first start in spring, command wasn't necessarily there. He gave up some hard hits, but the velocity is what you want to see from Severino at this point. Yoel Moncada went for 4. Yadier Molina went for 1. Mike Zunino went for 2. Nicky Lopez just went for $3 to Scott.
Yes, sir.
So some speed there. And that is where we are going to wrap up this YouTube stream. We appreciate everyone who's watching us. Again, if you haven't, 184 people still here watching us. We appreciate all of you. Like the video if you haven't already. Thumbs up. If you're just passing through and you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please subscribe, tap the notification bell. That'll let you know every time we go live here on the channel. But for Scott and Chris, I am Frank. Thank you all for watching this salary cap draft edition of Fantasy Baseball today. We'll be back again tomorrow. Bye-bye.